Yo, keep the faith, never lose hope. What's going on, faithfuls? And we are live on all major platforms YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And you would like to come join the conversation? Here you go. I'm going to put it up for you that way you can see it. Please call that number and go by the link in the comment section and plus the chat. Go to the chat too, by the way. All right. And if you would, please hit the like subscribe button. And please turn on all notifications. Turn them all on. That way when we go live, you'll know us. You'll know to come in. All right. And yes, we are the faithful ones. And of course, let me turn this off. Faithful ones, and we are representing. The welcome to the Red and Gold 24/7 presents the Faithful Empire for the weekends. All right. So, I wanted to say something before I bring you guys in here. And okay, I want to thank you all for coming in and doing this show with us. And yes, if you see the logo and everything has been changed, we're rebranding and refurbished everything. Okay, long story. I'm not gonna talk about it right now. And if anybody wants to know about it, they can just let me talk about it later with me. But I ain't worried about it right now. But because it still gets to me. But yes, we are live and we are in color. So I'm your lead host. I'm your boy Ryan, and I got my co-host, my brothers. Got Nick Welsh, Nick C for Nick. Sorry, I'm gonna mess up your name already. Nick C, Ashley, Maverick. What's going on, brothers? And of course, another comer. What's going on, Ron?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Oh, Ron with the background.
Hey, yeah.
Yes, man, I met last night. He asked about it last night, so I gave it to him.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
No problem, man. We got you. No problem, man. And yes, he's our newcomer, by the way. And people you guys know, Ron is our newcomer. We do have a few other guys. Hopefully, another guy, Mike, would be in here if he gets a chance to. It'd be great. But if not, hey, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Another day. But what's wrong, guys? How's your weekend been going? So, what's going on?
So far, so good for me over here.
I can feel the excitement. Woo!
Just another evening. It's nearly 8:05 in the UK. Nick and me, Nick C and Ash. Yeah, we're good. I'm good.
I think we're all just chilling over here. It's hard to get too excited about things at the moment with everything going on in Eastern Europe, and it's quite a scary situation. So it's nice to get on here and talk about football, take your mind off it for a bit, because
Amen to that.
Definitely. By any chance, man, anybody made a mock draft by any chance, or at least a couple of players that you think the Niners should go for?
Nah,
not yet.
Not yet.
It's a bit soon for me.
Yeah, I'm waiting on the combine before I do. I usually wait on the combine before I start putting anything on paper.
But any names stand out to you though so far?
I like Daxton Hill from Michigan. He is a safety, coverage safety.
Okay.
But he just may be a little bit high up there, maybe an early first rounder we can't get to. So I might mock him into a couple of trades, assuming, we get maybe a fourth or something for Jimmy. So when I mock him, I'll probably throw that into the equation and hopefully can go up there and get him. But Daxton Hill, if you haven't checked him out, he plays for Michigan, man. And I think he would fit. He's a playmaker. He's a good tackler, good coverage guy. In the box, deep. So that's who I like.
Who would you compare him to? A 49er.
Ooh, he's like a younger, faster shark, like just aggressive. Williams. And
that's some high praise.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Tell you, I'm listening to that.
Right now, I mean, a lot of guys like Petrie, and there's a couple of safeties out there, but I just keep, the Daxton Hill, I think is good. And then I do really like some corners and some safeties from Penn State. If you guys haven't watched film on Penn State defense, I would recommend you guys take at least 5 to 10 minutes to watch some highlights from the Penn State defense. And I mean, we've drafted from Penn State before, and these guys get after it. I mean, I watched Penn State all year, and I think there's a couple of guys in that secondary that we can probably get.
What about Jaquan Brisker? Is that something you're looking at? I'm guessing, yeah. He's safety, isn't he? I don't know if you can understand me, by the way. My throat is kind of shot. So. But,
yeah, from Penn State.
It's all good, Ash.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Penn State guys, they have some dogs on that team, and they always have. Nick will say, I actually grew up watching a lot of Penn State football because I had family who went there. So yeah, I'll attest to that.
Yeah.
So I think Jaquan Brisker is someone that maybe the Niners would be looking at. Second round pick, maybe. He's a safety, so I haven't watched a lot of it, but that's someone you might be looking at.
I mean, Penn State do they do have some nice defensive players coming out of their long-lasting NFL career, don't they?
I mean, we got Bowman went to Penn State. I think back in the day, we had a first in, was his name Julian Peterson? Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Penn State.
His name sounds familiar.
So I think we went to Penn State before. I'm hoping that we got a scout on that defense if make it happen.
I know it's high up there, but what about a guy like Ahmad Gardner from Cincinnati?
Yeah, he's way up there though. I think he's probably top in his position group. I don't know. Here's the thing though. I don't know. Teams. They're saying it's light this year. But I don't know that teams are still find value in drafting, secondary guys in the first round. We I don't know. Maybe in the combine when they see these kids go out there, we may see a lot of safeties and corners go out in the first round this year. Because I know safety's been like running back. I don't know who made that point the other day, which is a good point. It's just the value has deteriorated, and teams seem to feel like they can find guys later in the rounds.
I mean,
sorry, Matt.
Go ahead.
The only thing I was going to jump in and say, if you're going to talk about top corner, it's probably Derek Stingley. If you're going on pure ability, coverage skills, ball skills, he'd be number one. But if that is true, that DBs have less value or teams are waiting on them or passing on them to later rounds, then I don't know, it might fall to you later if you maybe trade up a little for him, because I don't think he'll get outside maybe the top 25 projected on some of the boards I've just had a quick look at. So, but no, if that's the case, you might have a good DB fall to you.
I like Derek Stingley, but for some odd reason, I feel like he's gonna drop. I really do. I don't know why.
Because LSU have been so bad, and you reckon that'll be like something people go, oh, well, what's the character like? What's the sort of, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm trying to make.
I think it's all gonna come from the combine. I mean, they're gonna find flaws in these players to kind of like get them to drop down, just so they can get them at a nice price. And they don't. Usually, there's nothing wrong with these guys, So it's just the money wise. They trying to figure out how to do this, and they all come together. Oh, let him drop down the draft, and then when we get to a certain round, then you start fighting for him. Mm-hmm. But like you say, I mean, I don't see him dropping down no lower than the top 25 though. But
yeah, I just think it is that I think it's teams don't feel or see the value to go high for secondary guys. I don't know. I mean, Darwin James went top 5, 10, but I agree. Teams find every excuse to not. I don't know. It seems like now there's no value in that position to them in the first round. So they'll probably, or we could be wrong. They could be still plucking quarterbacks we know don't have talent and just reaching in the first. We don't know, but I agree with Mav. It may be that we're in the second and third rounds and we still got a good chance to get some solid guys, like missing on Asante Samuel. He was there.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can make it right this year and get a solid playmaker or two in the second or third rounds.
Do you think maybe with the draft coming up, there's so many edge rushers as well that might force some corners and safeties that aren't, well, they're projected to go higher, but they're going to start falling, players that we may not think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Edge rusher is like second to quarterback maybe in value.
It's deep, man. Those two positions are real deep. here. So I don't see teams doing a lot of reaching for those two positions. Like I'm looking here, a guy like Kobe Bryant that we've been talking about for the longest. He's projected to go 59th. That's what he's listed on ESPN. And then you got Christian Watson, who's like right behind him at 63. So I mean, there's a lot of potential for us to actually get guys that names have popped up on our screen. So
yeah, I'm just looking now at CBS's big board, and they have Kobe Bryant going 100, like in the 120s, basically. So
Wow.
that's the end of the third. That's the fourth. Is that the fourth? Is it? Yeah.
And I was on ESPN.
That's on CBS. That is, and even after him, they don't seem to be very high on him. But even after him, you got people like Trey Castro Fields, another Penn State player who's got lots of experience, a lot of his career at Penn State. Yeah, so I think there's depth in this cornerback class or this secondary class that you can maybe wait until the third or the fourth and pick up a quality player.
Yeah. Like, see, just to jump off the subject real quick, like guys like Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall, 2 running backs going into the second round, according to ESPN. Whoever get those guys are gonna have a steal. It's kind of like having Christian McCaffrey. 2 of them,
I love tested Breece Hall. Everyone knows I tested Breece Hall as an Iowa State fan. I'll say he's the top running back in the class. And I know I'm biased.
You would say that.
No one can say that. I ain't afraid to say it either, Mav. That's the great thing. It is a beautiful thing, right, to be able to sit here and go, damn, an Iowa State player might go in the back into the first round. That hasn't happened since 1970. So, I'm going to, lavish in that opportunity to say that because that doesn't come up much. Okay, so
the reason why I'm not disagreeing with you on him being like the top back over Kenneth Walker is simply because, like I said before, I play a lot of DraftKings fantasy sports. So when I'm looking at the price out of $50,000 that I have to pay for this guy, he usually takes a big chunk of my cash, at least 10 to 11 grand. So that they only price players that high if they are being utilized in their offense is much more than an average player would. So yeah, I could agree with you on that. I mean, the numbers speak for itself when it comes to him, but
yeah, I'm a totally biased opinion here, so I'm not the most reliable person to talk to, but I think he's a 3-down back. He can catch out the backfield. He can pass block. Yeah. He maybe hasn't got the greatest top end, but he did wonders behind a shocking O-line at Iowa State last year. I mean, we could not get a push to save our lives at times, and he was still making people miss and getting positive yards out of stuff. So I'm obviously high on him. Kenneth Walker, though, is quality as well. Another top back. That's like Ron was saying about DBs. Running back's probably the most glaring position that's had fall off in value in the last few years. So I won't be surprised if both of them fall outside the first round. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think Nick, Welsh Nick, I don't know if the Nick's still here now, but Nick, I saw you tweeting about some interesting things earlier about Raheem Mostert and like a pairing for him. Well, I can't remember what you were talking about, but I'd be interested to hear if you've got anything to add to that.
Oh, no, I mean, that's just a standard. I mean, I think every Niners fan around wants to see Mostert paired up, a fit Mostert paired up with Mitchell. I mean, that's a 1-2 punch straight from hell. That is a sucker punch straight to the gut, another one to the throat, and you're down, you're out for the count. Niners are 14-0 up inside the first quarter. But I don't know.
Okay, well,
whether it happens or not is another thing.
Put it this way, then: if a healthy Raheem Mostert was paired up with Mitchell, what do you do with the other backs? Trey Sermon, Jamaica, Hasty? No.
Hasty, yeah. Jermichael Hasty.
And Wilson.
And Wilson.
Wilson and Hasty are both free agents. I think one of them I think Jamaica Hasty might be exclusive rights free agent. I think we've probably seen the last of Wilson, which is devastating. I love Wilson. I every single week, all the way throughout the season. If you follow me on Twitter, the first thing you're guaranteed to see from tweeting for me is that the Castaway GIF. Love me some Wilson, but I don't think he's going to be here next year. He'll be gone. Trey Sermon worries me because he was so vastly underused, and he few drop balls. He didn't look great. And got outplayed by a 5th round running back.
Yeah, they had a picture of him on Twitter last night running, doing a stretching and stuff. So I don't know how he's been doing though.
It was funny, man. Cause see, I love running backs because I played running backs. When we made that pick, other 49er friend, he called me up. He was like, "Man, what do you think about that pick, Trey Sermon, dude? I don't like Ohio State running backs. They don't pan out for me in the systems that you really want to see them in. Zeke, I believe, was an exception because he went to America's team, apparently. But Trey Sermon, I felt like was the worst pick that we made so high in that draft. And Eli Mitchell, I seen him play. I mean, I was okay where we picked him up at, but we still wasn't addressing what we needed to at that moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, yeah, I'm not a big Trey Sermon fan.
I'm
really not.
Can
we
we
took
go back
Sermon,
to?
I think. Sorry, go on.
I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
go on.
Can we go back to Wilson real quick? Why do we think he was so underutilized this year? I know he just came off that. He came off that injury, but he came off IR what week? But he was just a ghost. You think
we
there
don't
was potential issues with his injury? Was he not recovering, or just?
We don't do well with small backs. He's a small back compared to Mitchell and Mostert, bro. Like for real. If you look at the back, the rest of the running backs, they're small. They're too small to be utilized in the system that Kyle is trying to run. Look at it. I mean, Debo's bigger than the last 3 running backs we got on the team.
I actually thought Wilson was just keep in mind that Mostert was gone all year, so he wasn't there, and then so was Wilson. He was out too, but when he came back, he just was completely out of the game plan, and I was just wondering why.
I think at that point Mitchell had proved himself as a 3-down back, and why would you take Mitchell out at that point?
But dude, you can't beat somebody up that like. The punishment Mitchell was getting, he wasn't even practicing all week, and he was. Dude, he was on fumes against the Rams. He didn't practice all week until game day, so I was always wondering why wasn't Wilson having more of a role in relieving some carries from Mitchell when he came back. And Sermon, to me, he's like a fumble away every time he grabs the ball. He's just, to me, just seems like it's going to come out.
I think with Sermon, we were just surprised he was still there when we were picking in that second round. And it was a case of, damn, we better pick him just in case he goes and is awesome for someone else and we've gone and whiffed on someone who's great. It didn't feel like he was a planned pick at all.
So you felt like that was a pity pick?
Not a pity pick. No, I think he started falling. And I think everyone expected Sermon to go a little bit higher. Or somebody might trade up for him or something, and then all of a sudden he's there. And I think the Niners they panicked a little bit when they saw he was still there. I think maybe their eyes were elsewhere.
Let's say that those 2 guys end up walking away, and we still have Mostert, Mitchell, and Sermon on the team. Now, I know this question is going to be directly at Ashley because he's a big Ohio State guy. We know that. Could you imagine in the 4th round somewhere, if it happens, Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker getting picked up by the Niners and being utilized in that offense with Mitchell and Mostert?
I don't think any of them 2 are falling that far. I don't think either of them get us at the 2nd, 3rd max, I'm honest. Particularly because Iowa State, well, I know I'm talking about Iowa State again, but the backup to Hall, who was more of a kick return specialist and had limited reps, he didn't get past the 4th round, and his production is nothing like Breece's. So I really can't see a back of Breece's or Kenneth Walker's quality falling that far. If you did pen him up in that offense, though, you'd have a hell of a 1-2 punch, mind. So I don't know, maybe if Breece starts to fall a little bit in the 2nd, or maybe teams are not enamored by that lack of top end speed, or the lack of speed, I should say. Maybe he falls into the Niners' lap a bit late in the 2nd, maybe. And maybe if it's there, it'd been intriguing whether they go, well, he's the best player on our board, best player available. Maybe they pick him up. But I don't think you're getting him anywhere outside of the top 3 rounds. No, I don't think he's going outside of the second round, if I'm honest. Neither of them two backs.
How's his one cut and go?
There's loads of depth in this running back class, I believe. Isn't there like Isaiah Spiller from Texas A&M's coming out as well?
I believe so.
I don't. Is Tank Bigsby coming out or transfer? I know he was there.
It's not that deep in that class, but there's a lot of good running backs coming out too. So I mean, it's going to be a lot of run games going on next season if they see the field.
I think Tank Bigsby went back to Auburn, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but regardless, I still think there's some quality backs in this draft. So yeah.
Hey, Nick and Ash, do you guys know Chuck? You guys can meet him? Okay, Chuck, I meet everybody. Okay, Chuck, meet Nick Welsh and Ashley. They're both from UK. Just so you know. Okay, they're our UK episode.
How you doing?
Ron is our newcomer. Okay, for us.
What's up, Chuck?
So you know, okay. That's Chuck. Chuck's been my friend for over 20 years at least. So,
Chucky.
Yeah.
Of course you know Mav. Of course you know Mav.
What's up?
No.
These two are my last two I had on our last podcast we have. So, I'm glad they both stayed. So, I'm sorry, Ash, for cutting you off. I just want to introduce Chuck
James
to everybody.
Cook from Georgia is not bad. It's not a bad running back neither.
Dalvin's brother? Is that what?
No, James Cook. James Cook.
He's not related to Dalvin, is he?
I don't believe so.
I swear Dalvin. I heard something about Dalvin had a brother that went to Georgia. I'll have to look that up, but
let me look.
I'll have to look him as well. But like you say, that like it's just more evidence that there's depth in this running back class. So
I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he was Delvin's brother.
Is he?
Yeah. James Cook is Delvin. Mm-hmm. Dalvin is his older brother.
Yeah, whether that counts for anything, I don't know. But I mean, Dalvin's had a pretty good run with the Vikings, isn't he? So if you want to project that, then go ahead. But
because I think Cook had a big game in the national championship game. I think he.
They tried to take as much stress off Stetson Bennett as they could, didn't they? In that game, so.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see him being nowhere near like Dalvin Cook, though. I mean, the only way is not being as injured as Dalvin. That'd be the only way he gets.
We're saying Wilson's gone. He's gone. We're done with Wilson and bring in some new guys.
Maybe one, because you've still got Jermichael Hasty as a fourth, mind.
You still think we're gonna keep him? I don't know. I mean, he's been what, 3 years?
He showed as a backup potential, as a backup returner though as well, didn't he? I know he had a few drops, but
a few drops.
He scares me in the backfield.
Come to think of it, I think maybe not.
He scares me returning them kicks. I don't know. He just him Benjamin. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah,
a few drops.
Yeah, I didn't think before I spoke then, did I?
I think Wilson's our Dante Johnson of the running back group. I think they're going to bring him back. I don't know if there's a market for him, but something must have happened where he just wasn't running the same anymore. Because I know he's had good games, but
he had a couple of setbacks, didn't he, through his injury?
Yeah,
yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And a couple of big setbacks as well.
South runner. He's just an up and down guy. You know, he doesn't do all that zone stuff that Kyle likes to do. So maybe Devo jumping into the backfield took away from his carries too. You don't know with Shanahan.
The same with Wilson, he did have a fantastic habit. If he got hit, he always fell forward for another yard.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. I don't think I saw that man get hit backwards.
Who talking about Jeff Wilson?
Jeff Wilson, yeah.
Yeah,
Every time, full forwards. He was good for another yard, bare minimum after first contact.
He's just too small for me. He's just too small to be playing in that offense.
What do you think? What do you consider small, man?
But I just
because he's 6 feet.
I mean, frame wise, he could be 6 feet all day long, but his frame wise does not even to me. I don't see him looking like being built like Elijah Mitchell or even Debo lined up in that backfield. I mean, he just don't look like that typical big back, even at his height to me. Like a big back to me is a Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, like they're frame wise. It has really nothing to do with the height. Like hell, even freaking who's the guy that used to play for the Eagles? Westbrook. Was that his name?
Westbrook.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mike
he
Westbrook.
was
Yeah.
he was small. He was short, but he was a big back. You look at the bus. They don't make them like that anymore.
The bus.
I think Mitchell plays bigger than he is because he's actually smaller than Wilson. Mitchell's 5'10", 201. Wilson's 6 feet, 213.
Okay, but still, that shortness for Mitchell makes him look bigger because he's shorter.
Well, look at the shortest running back there ever was, Barry Sanders. He was short. So
yeah, but you look at Barry though, you couldn't really tell how big he really was under those damn pads. Those pads look like freaking circus tops on his shoulders. So back then, them was some big old pads. I even had them things, and I really didn't feel comfortable wearing them. So, dude, it was better for smaller pads for me. You can actually see my frame. You can see my physique. You can see my build, and I felt better. I can run better. My clothes was not loose. It fit. Everything just fit. So back then when Barry was playing, I mean, you could throw on a damn cape on Barry, and he'll look like a damn football player still. So I'm just saying.
Can we compare Hasty to Wilson?
No, he's Wilson. Hasty's short.
Yeah.
He's more of a speed back with Hasty.
Because Wilson, Wilson came back in November, and I just was curious as to why we didn't, Mitchell, dude, you guys know we ran Mitchell to the ground. Can we all agree on that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was overused.
He was just on fumes. He didn't practice all week. He was beat up with a knee, a shoulder. Wilson comes back in November, and we didn't hear much from him to help with carries. I know Jermichael didn't get a lot of looks, but it was just like Mitchell, and some a little bit of Debo, and then some more Mitchell. And Wilson was back there dressed. I don't think he was inactive. So
I'm surprised we didn't use Juice a little bit more to try and mitigate the usage of those two guys.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, if Sermon's not producing, if there's something not quite right with Wilson, you've got Juice, and the man's a beast.
Yeah, I always think we do not use Juice enough other than blocking. I think he needs to get the ball a little bit, if not a lot more.
They tried in the passing game. The problem was Jimmy kept bloody missing him.
That's what I was about to say. About to say same thing. Juice was always open. It's just the fact that you overthrew him.
Yeah, in the hot routes, Jimmy's panicking, finds Juice in the hot somewhere, 5 yards down the field. He's sitting in the window somewhere.
Yeah.
Throw it to him.
Oh God, are we gonna have another Jimmy debate?
No.
I mean, can we all agree? Can we all agree the team is going to look very different next year, no matter how many people say we have a win now team?
It's going to be, of course it is. The playbook's going to be entirely different.
I don't like that word. Oh, we're built to win now. We're built to win. I mean, isn't that what you build your team for every season, to win now?
Right.
So I mean, what's that whole concept? When you see Jimmy gives us the best chance because we have a win now team ready to win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's the reason why you built your team every year, to make a run at the Super Bowl every year. So best chances, that was, I felt like that was a smoke screen, like I was saying, that excuses. And guys like Kittle, I love Kittle, but it's really starting to catch some steam. A lot of people are really starting to see, hey, can we really trade Kittle? Should we really trade Kittle? I mean, his utilization is not there like that no more for the last 2 years. So I'm asking the same question. Do you get crucified for bringing up Kyle Juszczyk's name in a trade as well?
With regards to this win now thing, I guess it kind of links into what a bit like Kittle, to be honest, is that you've got a lot of young stars. You've got Debo, you've got Bosa. I think Kittle's already been paid. Ayuk, if he emerges as well, you're going to have to start paying a lot for these guys. And whether you can afford some players, you have to let someone go. When in terms of a win now, is saying, you don't have to pay these guys yet. but in the future you may not be able to do that. I guess that's what it's kind of referring to. I fully get where you're coming from with you do better try and build a team to win now every year, because of course you do. I think it's just more of a label saying that you're in a privileged position where you can afford players because they're on rookie contracts, and you haven't had to pay them top billing yet. Or you go down the Rams route where you just break the bank for absolutely everyone, and where you can't pick people for years. That's a different end of the spectrum. That is.
But I love how some of the playbooks or some plays that Shanahan has for Juice to get wide open, and I just love how some of the plays that he has for him when he goes around and through the linebackers, goes around the outside, and that's where his mostly opens is on the outside numbers. The only problem is we need a quarterback who could throw to him without overthrowing him or underthrowing him. Because Jimmy G drives me nuts with that that throw. He does. But hopefully with Lance, he's good at play actions. We all see that bomb, him and Debo. That was an amazing throw. How he did that on bootleg. When he did a bootleg, man, I was standing up. And I was like, oh, he's a bomb. I just don't know whether it's going to be a good pass or a bad pass. So, Juice, he's good on blocking, yes. But I like him when he gets on the backfield sideline. That way he'll catch him and he'll go out of bounds. That's what they're using for. So, yeah.
I think Juice and Kittle are two vital pieces of Shanahan's offense. I just don't see those guys run the offense to perfection. So it's a critical piece of the blocking. And I honestly think that you can use his low usage in the passing game, against them when you renegotiate, but keep them around. I think it would probably benefit the team because you're right. He's not getting the targets. You can't pay him like a receiving tight end, but Kittle does everything Shanahan wants to perfection. And some of this tape is just tape that you use to coach tight ends on how to block. Same with Juice. That's why I personally would not get rid of Kittle because of just his execution on the field and his knowledge of what Shanahan wants him to do.
Yeah, Shanahan. We've heard it all through the season when he talks about wide receivers not blocking. We know how much he values blocking, and that's why Kittle and Juice ain't going nowhere. He's going to do his best to keep Juice there.
I think that's why Ayuk was in the doghouse, was because of his blocking. Because I watched Ayuk at ASU, Sun Devil, and that wasn't a big piece of his game. And I don't know how serious he took it coming into Shanahan's office. And we know Shanahan takes his receiving guys blocking probably more serious, or it's more important to him than catching the ball. Because he's a run first guy. So that's why I just think if you trade Kittle away, do you have someone else that can come in and do what he does?
No.
Let me ask this question now. Now, this is matter of fact, I gotta ask it this way. People, just what you just said, we shouldn't get rid of this player, we shouldn't get rid of that player because they're critical pieces and stuff. I mean, it's like not okay. Having a girlfriend, she treated you so good, or you loved everything she did for you, but it's that one flaw that just kills you. You still can't get over it no matter how much you try to, but yet you still don't want to get rid of her, saying that somebody out there can't give you the same thing she gave you plus more. I mean, that's how I take the question when people, the comment when people saying, oh, we should keep Kittle, we should keep Drew, we shouldn't get rid of best piece. But dude, they're like stocks to me. These players are stocks. The NFL is the stock market. If they're not being utilized for what they're being paid, then their stock is going down. Why do I need to keep a share in that stock if I'm trying to make money?
So let me counter that, because they're like the pillars of your building, and that's like tearing down two critical pillars. Your building's going to fall. I guess the question for you would be, what is Kittle's flaw?
The utilization, how they're using him, and then his injuries on top of that too. Like I'm with Bill Walsh on this. I love you if you could be the best damn player on the team. Alden Smith, he couldn't stay on the field, whether it was injuries or suspension. I'm one of the 4 fans that was ready to get his ass off there. You're not helping my team. Kittle, he can block, he can go out for passes, he can do this, but you have to think about it. He's a Jimmy G guy. Jimmy G throws up the middle. That's it. About 10, 15 yards at the most. He can't go no further than that. So he can't hit the outside like he needs to hit the outside on a consistent basis, I should say. So
they depend on that yak. They depend on that yak every time you throw the ball.
That's all he depends on. We can't be depending on the season on yaks all throughout the season. We got to be able to high risk, high rewards. And on top of that, is like you can have a crack in your foundation, right? Now
No,
you can find a way to fix it. If you telling me if I have a pillar, if I'm building a house in a way.
My thing, so I can get with you on the injuries. Like after he signed that big contract, it seemed like he was just everything was an injury. So
I mean, isn't it always like though?
How many? Well, it seems like that with us for sure, absolutely. But how many games did he miss this year? Does anybody have that?
I believe he only missed no more than 4. I must say
4 games this year.
Just around there, no more. I don't think he missed no more than that. Chuck, what's up, man? Look that up. How many games Kittle missed, man?
I don't know. I don't know how many games he missed.
But when you clearly see when Trey Lance is in the game, Kittle is not being utilized like that. Maybe like 1 or 2 plays. But then again, we have a small sample on Trey being with those players.
Yeah.
So I can't really count.
Yeah. I'll agree with you there. I think the way we underutilize Kittle in the passing game is it's criminal. But I think Kittle took the criticism early on where we were starting to call him brittle. And I actually believe like he played through injury this year. Like he played through a calf injury, and I think he got the message. Like there's certain things you play through. And I don't know. It's just I honestly think that you can get him
if
for
we
cheaper.
paying Kittle if we're paying Kittle Ross Dwelly money, then I'm not talking trading Kittle at all. You can get the hell off my front door with that. but you paying Kittle, Debo, and Bosa money that you're about to pay them, and he's not going to be used like those guys. That's my only issue with it.
We don't know what that playbook's going to look like next year yet. We don't know. The fact he said he was playing hurt. He had the bad shoulder, which meant he may have struggled with getting his arms up for the catching game. But he could still hammer the crap out of anyone in the run game. And he did. He put his body on the line for the run game. So I think maybe a year on, hopefully maybe his shoulder's a little bit better. And I think you could well end up seeing a lot more of Kittle in that scenario.
Right. Mav, do you think $15 million a year for Kittle is too much?
It's not too much if he's being used like he needs to be, like he's worth $15 million. It's not much at all. But
I think he's being used as a tackle. To me, that he's our right tackle. That's
okay. So how much is the right tackles getting paid right now?
More than
what's the numbers on that?
Look that up.
5th-year option, wasn't it, on McGlinchey?
Yeah, they picked it up.
So it's going to be expensive.
But what's the franchise tag?
I don't see McGlinchey staying after. I see him leaving.
I don't know. We saw a massive fall off in the run game on the right hand side when he went out. We saw how much he actually does. He got slated a lot, and then he went down, and then we missed him.
We just got too many damn players that's for the next 2-3 years that we're going to have to be paying. I mean, I know we're going to have the money right then and there, but it's just that team is not going to be the same in the next 2-3 years.
So these numbers are from overthecap.com for right tackle contracts, and the highest paid right now is Ryan Ramczyk from the Saints. His total value is $96 million, and it's $19 million a year. Kittle signed a 5-year, $75 million a year contract. And it goes up to 16, and I believe this year it goes up to 16 million, but that's still a lot lower than he would. If he was the right tackle, he would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Probably be the 7th best, maybe.
7th, right?
Yeah, 7th behind Brian Bulaga from the Chargers. So You can say, look, Kittle, let's rework this deal out, back
He's an all over.
in, push this, some of this money back a little bit more or whatnot, and then kind of use those passing stats against them. I don't know,
I mean,
but
if you're gonna use Kittle like that, he's not an expensive right tackle. He's actually being underpaid for the type of right tackle he is, because he's an all-around right tackle. He is the Debo of the tackle of the line. You can say that if that's the way you want to put it. He can block, he can catch. Yeah. So I don't feel like that's too much in that scenario.
now if it was
you're
25, yeah, like okay, Kittle, you got to,
crazy
that's
money.
a lot. That's a crazy money. But
Yeah.
15 million, I think they actually got him before. I think they got him at the right price, to be honest with you, and for what he does. A lot of
it is.
If you don't watch Niner games,
If you're using that analyst,
yeah, you can easily
ahead.
just say like, okay, well, he doesn't. I mean, how many touchdowns does he have? How many catches does he have? But if you watch the Niner games, you know how important he is to the offense.
Of course,
Mhm.
there's no doubt. There's no denying that. There's no doubt about that. He is important to the offense, but it's just when you stop looking as a fan and start looking like a front office type of guy, you question you. Those are questions that come up. Are we paying this guy too much for how we're using him? Yeah, he's a good player, but this is a business first.
Okay,
So
if you're going to trade him, then you say who would you replace him with?
I mean, I like
replace him.
Dwelly. I like Dwelly. Dwelly can't do everything Kittle does. That's true, but he's been in the system long enough to know what Kyle likes and how to help someone like Trey Lance. I mean, he's been 3-4 years in the system already, and we can always bring.
He gets flagged a lot as well, though, a hell of a lot.
He does, and I believe that's one of the reasons why he does not see snaps like Kittle does. But
Dude, Kittle takes on the top edge rushers one-on-one in coverage, passing coverage,
and wins
by himself. Name another
Like-
tight end in the league that can do that for what he's getting paid.
You got me on that one. But at the same time, you see, if we're looking at just what Kittle does and not look at who can actually help the offense, then we'll always go back to that disagreement with Kittle. You can't replace him. You can't replace him. You can't replace him. But I mean, everyone's replaceable though. Like you got a guy like Noah Fant or Font, or however you pronounce his name. Sorry if I botched it, but coming from the Denver Broncos, I can really see him flourish in a Kyle Shanahan's offense. Hell, we could even take a guy like Jimmy Graham. Not gonna do the same thing Kittle does, but he is, I can see Jimmy being Jimmy Graham from the Saints, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. I could see that old Jimmy coming back in a Niners uniform under that system. So I mean,
he'd be a little bit old. I think if you are going to let Kittle walk, I'd be more inclined to kick the bags on maybe David Njoku. He's a free agent this year.
That too.
But
so I mean, it's some guys out there that you can plug and play behind a guy like Dwelly who's been in the system for a while. So, well, I mean, yeah, you don't want to let Kittle go, but if you're looking at the business aspect, that's a name that comes up.
Yeah, I'm not getting rid of Kittle or Juice. So don't answer that question.
Yeah, if we extend Kittle again and we give him another second contract, I think it's got to be for the same. It's got to be for the same.
If you give him a second contract, it's going to be a little bit more.
Well, if he wants more, then I absolutely like. How much more do you want, Kittle? But that's why I keep saying I keep going back to. I think the team has leverage over that next contract. I don't think you let him go though, and test free market. Someone's going to pay him a lot of money. Someone's going to pay him a lot of money, but I just don't see that being wise.
Like we were just talking about Juwan Jennings last night, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if he goes out and ball out and become the next IU or maybe slightly a smaller version of Debo, but he stretches the field, what do you do with him then? Because you'll have to pay him the next year. or you'll have to be considering that.
Yeah, I mean, but at that point, then you can look at it. You know, if Ayuk hasn't done anything, then you're bumping Ayuk. You're trading Ayuk to make Jennings WR2.
Okay.
So there's always a flip side somewhere.
That's true.
I think where we differ, Mav, from what Art just talking, the last couple of days, I think that I believe we have the answers on the roster now.
I do too, actually.
QB. I think we have the answers. I think we have more than capable guys now that would, we just don't have a quarterback for it. Versus going out and looking for free agents to come and replace these guys for. I think that's where I'm just like, I think they're on the roster now.
Well, the thing about it is you look at them being on the roster now, like we were just talking about a couple minutes ago. You don't build a team to win now just for one season. You build a team to win now every season. That's your goal, to get that ship every season. But when you're talking about upgrading, there's always a piece that has to go away. So when you're talking, when you're looking at it, you just pretty much have to be like, okay, these are the biggest pieces that takes up, most of the cap that I need to upgrade. Like, we have the win now pieces. We have the players that we have that we need on the team now, but we can always upgrade.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think that piece is that tight end. I think we need upgrades in the secondary, like
the
nickel,
tight end,
or we need a second edge rusher on the other side.
That tight end, conversation is just part of the conversation because of Jimmy G. Once Jimmy G leaves the team, once he's no longer a 49er, then that tight end conversation goes away, especially for me. If we're so still desperately on trying to get a first rounder, which I feel like we don't need it and we're not gonna get it, but if we're so keen on getting that, then it makes more sense to have a package deal going, even if it's with a Jimmy with one of our third round picks or something like that. It still has to be some kind of a package talk. I mean, am I right or wrong?
That's fine. But I think putting Kittle in that package is overkill.
It is overkill, but for first round?
Overkill. Kittle's a first rounder on his own bare minimum.
It is.
I think all our skill positions have been deteriorated or have lowered in value because of Jimmy. And I'm a strong. Like I said, we can all be wrong, but I think insert Trey Lance. I think he's going to elevate everybody. I know we were talking to you guys. Ayuk was a deep threat in college. You got to look back to these guys' college tapes and what they're good at. Ayuk was a deep threat in college. He can still be a deep threat now. He can take.
I want to run that more.
And Debo as well. Debo was a deep threat in college. I just think we didn't see it or don't think they can do it because Jimmy never threw it.
Because he couldn't. Yeah.
No,
and he couldn't. And I think it's all going to change with Trey coming in. I honestly think this kid's going to come in and just left and right everybody.
Think about how good
Lance
is
you can
as well. Lance is brilliant on play action. Watch his college tape. He played a lot. He played a very similar scheme, love under center, and he was great off play action, throwing the ball down the field. So that's going to suit your guys' skill sets really well.
I would even put an escape artist on a tag on Lance.
As far as like I wouldn't necessarily call him an escape artist. He's a good runner, and he will get you. Yeah, you get you yards on scrambled and maybe to get if like you break to the line, but running around the backfield, I don't think he's that nifty. He's not a Russell Wilson kind of scrambler for me, but he's someone that can break through an arm tackle, get to the line, get you 10, 11, get you a first down with his legs. He's a really good runner. But yeah, like it all goes back to what you're saying though. Like this year is going to look so different for you guys.
It really is. It really is. I don't
want to put numbers on like how many touchdowns Lance will throw or not. But I just think by having him in the game, he opens up other opportunities for you simply because you have to account for different stuff that you don't get with Jimmy. So, it's going to be an interesting year, isn't it?
Picture this preparation as a D coordinator, Mav. Trey Lance at quarterback, Mostert at running back, You can Debo at wideouts, and you have Kittle at tight end. Those are just weapons all over the field.
Mhm.
All over the field.
Yeah.
Imagine preparing for that, and imagine what you can do with these guys. Everyone's going to get elevated. Everyone.
I can
I think
see
the
it.
bigger we have bigger offensively. The what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry. We have bigger questions on that along the line. Maybe not Trent, maybe not Alex Mack, but making sure that these guys can block for and maintain their blocks for a running quarterback, a mobile quarterback without getting flagged. And that's the bigger one. I think that's a much bigger question than any of our skill position players are.
Yep.
If you did go for a center in the draft, what school would you go for? I mean, schools. Yeah, somebody that can suit up with Trey Lance's quarterback skills.
I don't even know that you go by school. You would go by skill set, but to get insert now center in the draft, you're looking at a guy in the first round.
Well, the reason why I say school, because you look at Patrick Mahomes came out of Texas Tech, right? The center that he played for is used to playing with a quarterback of his skill set. You look at Lamar Jackson, who came out of Louisville. So, I mean, I guess the question I would be looking for is what quarterback now presents the skill set that Trey Lance has to where that center, if he's coming out, can be of some kind of a fit to replace Mac or back up whoever we choose. You see what I'm saying?
I would say Alabama. Alabama always puts out good players.
But Alabama don't have too much of running quarterbacks. They don't really play quarterbacks that scrambles like that.
Bryce Young's pretty good scrambler mine this year. Like, he's pretty elusive. To be honest, I think it'll just be a learning curve rather than who has the skill set. I think it'll just take a period of adapting to getting used to, okay, we have a quarterback that might well take off and get out of the pocket and run for a first down. And that'll just take, for me anyway, it just takes time rather than you draft someone with that skill set. They just got to get used to letting go.
I mean, you got those guys that we have on the line has yet to play with someone like Lance's skill set. For 4 years, you had a statue.
Williams has experience because he played with RG3.
Okay.
So here's a guy I like. Here's a guy I like. He's out of ASU. No bias, right? But yeah, Donovan West. He's an interchangeable guy.
I heard that name.
He's a guard and he's a center. Take a look at Donovan West. I think we can get him right where we have our picks. And
like
he
fourth round.
I think we have the second and the third.
We do have.
He might fly under the radar. Yeah. Watch some Donovan West. He's out of ASU. He's interchangeable. He can play center. He can play guard.
I really feel like our first pick is going to be edge or corner.
I think it'll be an edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So I really see the guy you talking about. I see him sliding by third, fourth. But I mean
drafting wise, I think we'd be more likely to draft a guard than we will a center. We tried drafting centers and it didn't work out. That's why we went and got Alex Mack, because it wasn't working out. Colton McKivitz didn't work out. We had a couple of others as well that just couldn't do it.
Yeah, so get a guy that can play both. He sucks at center, you move him to guard.
Out of interest, then, if you have to, if you're going to go edge, like some of you guys are saying, you're not going to get Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau because they get gone way before you.
They'd be long gone. That's what they're 1 and 2.
Who do you think maybe you'd fall to if you take an edge first? David Ojabo, I think his name is. Would he maybe be there? Someone like him, the Michigan end that played opposite.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
David Ojabo, if he's there, I think, like you say, there's a lot of depth in this draft, so people might not, after the first two, they might hold off and go after edge rushers after the first two, which clearly have separated themselves from the next lot of edge rushers. But Ojabo is pretty dominant edge rusher. You watch his tape of Michigan, he was a dog, as you would say.
Yeah, but I think Ojabo's going to be gone.
You think he's going to be gone too?
Yeah, I think he's going to be gone. I think they're going to go for O-line and edge.
Who you think get him?
That's a great question, but I think he may be gone. But what? So let's look. When do we pick in the second?
We picked 61st or something like that.
Jeez,
Or-
this is
Yeah.
the top 10 are all projected to be gone by then, long gone.
I'm looking
Yeah.
at CBS's draft form. They don't have outside of Hutchinson's. Well, outside of the top 3 edge rushers who they have, which is Thibodeau, Hutchinson, and then like Kalafdis guy out of Purdue. They don't have any other. Well, they have one guy going in the first round, and he's 30th. So, could you maybe move up or add a bit of a reach draft someone at the end of the first, or maybe trade back in the 32nd as an option for you?
We can if Jimmy gone. But then again, I guess we do have to wait to see that pick that we get for Jimmy, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
To really start talking about trading back and trading up and all that.
Yep. 'Cause a lot of the mock that I'm doing is going to be based off. I'm going to use a 4th rounder because to me we're going to get let's just say what's consistently out there right now. I would agree with a 4th round this year.
Yeah, I'd be
4th round next year.
as well.
If we can get a 4th, trade one of those 4ths to somebody and move up earlier in the 2nd to then. But Ojabu in a lot of the mock drafts, they actually even have them. What CBS has them going to Atlanta, 8th overall.
Yeah, Atlanta could use somebody like that. Now I'm looking at centers, right, for free agent centers right now, and the top one pops up is Jensen, Ryan Jensen from the Bucks, and he's at market value of. Let me see.
Is it confirmed that Mac's leaving? Has anyone seen anything for that? Because I don't think he is. I don't think we need to look at center so much, to be honest. I think that position is pretty much sewn up. As long as Mac's wearing red and gold.
Yeah, but it's talking about retirement, though. I mean, that was his whole thing. It wasn't just that he wanted to leave and go and get more money. He wanted to retire. So I guess we do kind of have to keep our eyes on it at least.
I think they should just let him skip training camp and all those OTAs and stuff like that. And just let the old dog come in when the season starts and keep him fresh, and he'll be happy. And he'll come back.
Anyway,
Hey Ash, I knew you got shut off. I was let you know, right?
Nice talking to you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Okay.
No problem, buddy.
Ash.
Ash, bud.
Bye, guys. Stay safe.
Thanks for coming,
All right,
bud.
man.
Is this too much for a center though at market value? 3 years, $30 million, a $10 million salary.
I think Max proved how important the position is for Shanahan's system. I mean, we tried underpaying guys before and it didn't work.
Yeah, but what is Matt getting paid right now though? That's the question.
I'm not sure.
I mean, market value says for a center is $30 million.
Let me pull it up. Oh yeah.
So and that's a 3-year deal. So I mean, that's not a bad look actually.
So I'm gonna say he's way below that. He's still under contract then.
Yeah, he was contemplating retirement.
Right. So let's just 3 years, 14.85 million. So let's say 15 million for 3 years.
So that's
and
what he's getting paid?
5.6 of that. Yeah, 5.6 of that is guaranteed. So complete discount price.
And Mac is how old?
32, 33.
36.
36. Wow.
And you got Ryan Jensen who's 30 and he's only at 10 mil a year. That's cheaper than what we're paying Mac right now.
Well, I think we got Mac on a hometown discount because he's a Cowboy as well, isn't he?
Well, no, Mac is 3 years, 14 million. You're telling me that Jensen is 10 million a year? That's in 1 year he's going to make as much as Mac would.
Oh, you talking about that's Mac's whole total thing discount?
Yeah,
right?
3 years worth up to 14.58 million, and only 5 million of that is guaranteed. That is so 50% discount.
That's real cheap.
Cheapest chip.
Yeah, that's a cheap. Okay, I thought you were talking about 14 mil a year. That's what he was getting paid
for 3 years. Yeah, no. So he's way under the average.
Mm-hmm.
But at 36 years old, do you not think we need to at least have somebody back there?
Well, I think you may want to pay him more. And
he's gonna want more.
Guy. Yeah, he's gonna want more. And you say, hey, Mac, we'll pay you more, and you can skip all the training camp and OTAs. How about that?
Listen, I mean, the man's coming up.
That's what he wants.
He's in a good position too, as well. The man he's coming off a Pro Bowl year. He's been absolutely phenomenal for us.
Yes.
He's sorted out that center of the line a treat because it's been a nightmare for us for the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, exactly. That may be just Max saying, "All right, I'm going to retire. Y'all need to pay up because I made a Pro Bowl, and you guys are getting me at a home. You get me at a Goodwill special. Like, come on."
I get it, man. That I mean,
Give it to 10 million.
What they did, Moneyball. They played Moneyball with Mac. Yeah,
I think it's hometown discount. The fact he's a Cal lad, I really do. And obviously he played with Shanahan, didn't he? With the Falcons.
Yeah. See, and there's some things Shanahan does really well, and there's some huge misses on his resume too. So it's not all bad with Shanahan. I mean, he's done some great. He's made some great moves, but Mac's one of them. Mac is definitely one of them.
Definitely.
Now Tomlinson is another story because Tomlinson's probably gone. He's probably going to get 10 to 15 million a year somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't think we can afford him.
No, I don't think so either.
He's going to go get paid, and he deserves.
I would rather pay
DJ
Jones. I would rather pay DJ Jones, to be honest with you.
Listen to what we're talking about, man. I really got crucified. I got jumped on for. Like, dude, it's a lot of players that we got coming up that's gonna need to get paid. It's not just Debo and Bosa. They're priority. That's the key word. They are priority. But I mean, I just don't see it, man. I don't see we having the same team in the next 2 years.
We're lucky in that all the other teams are going to be having the exact same problems. They're having the exact same conversations in their other front offices as well. Players are going to have to adjust their demands as a result of it. So it's now a case of seeing, right, this is what we are, and seeing if we can get some of the guys that are on our roster right now. Right, guys, come. We've done good by other players going forward before. We'll do it for you as well, and we're relying on that goodwill going forward because John Lynch has a phenomenal relationship with the entire roster. You can see it, and that's where we're going to have a big plus over a lot of teams. And that's where we're going to have that advantage, and especially with free agency. Who thought we were going to sign all of those free agents last year with how bad the cap was last season? And it's gone up. We've created a lot of goodwill. We've managed to pay a lot of players, and that's going to be attractive as well, not just for the players on our roster, but those players coming in because they know they're going to get looked after.
But last year, though, I mean, due to the pandemic, then the NFL make some kind of an exception or something like that for re-signing a lot of free agents and players that held out. I could have sworn something like that happened, and that's why we was able to re-sign most of those free agents.
Yeah, I think it didn't apply to us because hardly any of our players held out there. I think the only one that ended up applying to us was Marquise Goodwin, and that's because we traded him, but there was the clause in the contract that if he didn't play, he'd end up back with us, and we had to give the pick back to the Eagles. He's the only one that ended up applying to us for.
Okay, because I was just thinking because I'm like, wait, the NFL said something about re-signing these players due to the pandemic. I have to go back and see what it was, but I could have sworn it was something in that case. But Marquise Goodwin, though, I didn't even know that we had that kind of deal with them.
Yeah, we traded him, but if he held out, the Eagles were allowed to send him back, and they got their pick back.
And what pick was that? Like the
7th rounder?
Was it a 7th?
Yeah, it was.
It was a low pick.
I mean, when you get sent off like that, and that's all another team sends your respective organization for you, do you feel disrespected? I mean, do you think they feel disrespected then?
Yeah, I think he did. I think absolutely he did. But the guy couldn't catch the ball down the middle. Like, he was a Pettis before Pettis came to the team. Like, he's a fast burner who was scared to catch the ball in the middle of the field. We had enough of it. There were some games where he was just completely disengaged, and then they paid him a lot of money. They trade him off, and then he has the audacity to be pissed at us about it. And I think after the Eagles, he went to the Bears. He played. I think he played with the Bears.
We cut him. He actually did all right with the Bears. He scored some.
Yeah,
he did fairly well against us.
He did. Yeah. I was like, wait, that's a good one. He's still playing. Like, wow. And
he looked real good. It's just like Dante Pettis looked to me. I seen him play a couple games with the Giants before he got hurt again, and He looked decent over there. He actually made Daniel Jones look a little bit better on some plays that he made. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, but then there's also the trade-off that he actually made Daniel Jones look bad by scoring a passing touchdown himself. So
Oh man. Oh man.
Since we're talking about Dante Pettis, when he was with us, what play do you think that Dante Pettis was best at? What was the best play at all time he was with us?
I feel like stretching the field.
No,
What
what
play?
play? Yeah, what play on a certain game? That's what
He
I
had
meant,
a
so.
touchdown in the corner of the end zone against the Vikings one year.
I'm
Yeah.
going for a Steeler game.
I like that.
Oh, that one too.
That was my best favorite one from him. That was my
Yeah,
favorite
because
one.
the whole game you see him just terrified of going down the middle.
Yep.
Terrified.
Yep.
He wouldn't
I
finish
missed
the
that
route.
game. I missed that game
And
with
you
him,
can
man.
clearly see why Shanahan was just done with this dude. And then boom, Jimmy throws it to him and we win the game.
Yeah, I know. As soon as he caught that ball, he probably say, "Okay, Shannon, am I at doghouse now?"
Right in the middle of two defenders too. I thought they were going to kill the guy, and he caught it.
Yeah, he got squished almost too.
I think I remember that play.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the
I
throw
thought
to
it was
Jimmy.
a pick.
Just
Like it
tighten up
was
on him.
another Jimmy play, and no, he actually threw it to one of his
Came down with
guys. Mm-hmm.
It was like right in a little box. He asked him right. If it wasn't for that box, it would have been intercepted. I think.
I had high hopes for Pettis. I honestly did. I thought he was going to be one of those good picks, but you can see it in games. I'm sure in practice it was even worse.
We have high.
We
have
had
high
separation for days, though, couldn't he? I mean, he had that quick step off the line. He was gone. You'd have a yard or two of separation within a millisecond of the play starting, and then that would be it.
Yeah,
He was not interested in getting tackled whatsoever. He didn't like it at all.
I mean, who plays football and is interested in getting tackled? I mean,
choose a different sport then.
That was the reason why I played running back, because I didn't want to get tackled. It made me a better running back playing with some kind of a little fear, knowing that these big old monsters are coming after me and trying to crush me. I mean, I welcome the contact now. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to get tackled.
No, you want to put right. I played tight end and I got lit up, and that was the end of that. I didn't play tight end ever again. I went to defense. I played linebacker. I hated it. But this guy got to the pro level playing wide out, and it was exposed on a national level. So
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of players like that.
Yeah, there are
a lot of players like Tebow. To me, I felt like Tebow was one of them. Big, decorated college player, but then when you get into the NFL, it's like, dude, this not college. You can't do the same thing you were doing over there. Like,
it's a different game.
And
on the flip side, look at how much flack Jamar Chase took before the season. Look how much flack he took, and look at what he went and did. I mean, him and Burrow are going to be something special for a long, long time. But he got was it the whole you can't really see the ball properly in the pros because you haven't got the white rings on the ball. And it's like, and he got hammered for weeks on that, and then guy nearly wins his ring in his first year.
Right.
So I mean,
I just thought Pettis was going to hit that curve, and and it never came. Hopefully, it comes with another team because he's with the Dolphins now, right?
Is he?
Is he with the Dolphins?
Yeah,
now?
He's with the Dolphins. I think he was one of the first signings that McDaniels made when he went over there.
I know they picked up another Niners wide receiver. They picked up River Craycraft.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. That's who I thought was the big first splash.
Yep. I think McDaniels is just going to have to hypnoptize.
Breeder's still over there, though, right?
Yeah. Is he still a Dolphin, or has he moved on? I thought he went up to the Bills. I thought he went to the Bills.
I think he's a Bill now.
Is he a Bill? I thought he was a Bill.
Yeah, I think he's a Bill now. I've seen him before on Bill.
Yeah, he's the third or fourth back or something with the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
So it's backwards then. So I got
Breeder. Yeah, he's with the Bills.
Okay. Because I thought it was with the Bills, then went to the Dolphins. So he was with the Dolphins, then went to the Bills.
He had like one carry all of last year, I think.
I think, what's his name? Ahmad something. Another running back is with the Dolphins. One of our old running backs.
Ahmad Salvin or something.
That's Salvin Ahmad. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, Ahmad.
Yeah.
He's there. He's in Miami.
He was a burner.
Yeah, he's got some speed.
Yep.
I was a bit gutted he got away, but hey ho, can't keep them all.
So yeah, it looks like Lakin DJ Jones, Mostert, K'Wan Williams, and Jeff Wilson are probably the top highest paid unrestricted free agents who had the most amount of snaps. Besides obviously Norman, and then Tart we're paying. I mean, that's why I'm saying Tart is super cheap, dude. He's making $1 million a year.
Is that it?
Yes, and he plays 67% of the snaps.
That's insane. I love Tart. I do.
I do.
But if we're going to move on from anyone along that backline, I can see it being him. Because I'm not sure if we're going to be able to afford to sign him this year with all the other signings we need to make.
And it's crazy because that damn interception is going to hunt him in that decision.
I hope it shouldn't. It
shouldn't, but it will.
But I really hope people don't hold that over him because it's one play. I think was it Kittle came out and said after the game, like, fine, yes, he's dropped a ball. But I think it was, I'm sure it was Kittle said, if he doesn't make a very specific play against the Packers, we lose that game, so we don't get there in the first place.
Yeah,
he had one earlier in the year too, like that he tracked somebody down and saved the game for us. I forgot who it was against.
He's special, man. I love Tart.
Me too.
See,
he took a lot of flack.
It's just one play, but then again, though, it's like it was so much time left on the clock. There's no telling what you would have did with 9 to 6 minutes. So, I mean, it shouldn't, but that's going to be the talk about when it comes to letting him walk or signing him back or something like that.
No, I don't think that that'll enter the conversation. To be honest.
To let him go? I don't think they'll let him go.
I think again, it's going to depend on how much he wants to get paid.
I don't think anybody's going to pay him. And I think with Tart, really, it's just like it's the fundamentals in his tackling technique. You see him almost every time he comes at you, but his technique is just so off. He's like a missile, and then he'll blow the guy up, but then he gets up with his arm dangling and runs off the field, and it's just poor tackling technique. I don't know, but $1 million a year, I would keep the guy around.
I can't believe it's that cheap. I'm in shock.
You said $1 million a year, and how many snaps did he play?
1.1, and he played 67% of the snaps.
It's crazy. You're paying him pittance.
Yeah, I wouldn't even let him walk for real. Like, I probably would just give him a little 50-cent raise or something like that. Here you go. Give him like $1. Give him $1 raise just for the hell of it.
Hell, Jason Verrett played 5% of the snaps, and he's making $5.5 million a year.
We got too much money tied up all around the team. Like, you pretty much have to let these guys play to see if they're worth the finance that we're spending on them. Like $5 million a year versus $1 million a year. I'd rather keep that guy on the damn field because he's playing more. And the reason why he played more was because Verrett was hurt, didn't it? And Thomas wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Reason why he played that many snaps. You don't have Thomas ready. And then Verrett's hurt. I mean, your backfield is depleted. So yeah, I can see that.
Verrett being hurt was the reason why we were tortured with Norman all year.
Yeah.
And then Thomas wasn't ready because again, he was out of football for a while. He's a young kid.
Yeah, he was a COVID holdout in his last season in college.
And man, that's why I always go back to saying, like, I truly believe a lot of the blame should be on Kyle with certain things because we neglected the cornerback position, and that's what we got. When Verrett went down, who was already subject to being injured, we had to deal with Norman. Look at Norman. So Norman, he's not too bad, $1.5 million a year, but he played 70% of the snaps.
I still think we overpaid him.
Yeah.
He should get a base salary. And
I never thought I'd say this sentence. I'd rather see Dante Johnson. He actually did okay towards the end of the season coming in, which is crazy to think.
What about Manny Mosley? Was he like? Is he at extension already?
I think we just signed him last year. Yeah, he's under contract.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ambry Thomas showed enough.
Yeah,
moving. He showed good progression from like mid-season onwards. He showed enough to show that he could very well be a starter in this league for a long time.
Yeah,
he's going to need to show more. Of course, he is. But the stats aren't quite there. But I think they'll come.
And
I
then
really do think they come.
So I think for me, nickel is going to be a huge question mark with what we do with Williams, because I really feel like Williams fell off. He was, of course, injury fell off towards the end of the year a little bit there. I know he had a pick against the Cowboys, but that's a question mark. And getting somebody to go in there and compete with Tart.
Nickel, that's where they want Dimador Lenoir to play.
Yeah. Yep. So I think they're going to move Lenoir to nickel.
I mean, he looked good though. For a couple of games I've seen him.
I don't see he doesn't have the speed to be an outside guy. Maybe we can move it to nickel and then get a top safety like I say Daxton Hill to compete with Tart. Because if you have Tart and Daxton Hill or a top safety fighting it out, that's a good problem to have.
It is, but for $1 million though, I mean, do you really want anybody to come and compete for that? I still want to run into the wheels.
I would definitely go in and if I would keep Tart for what he has. I don't think he has a market, and I think he's a great player. I don't think that interception is as big as the deal, but I would start looking to bring in somebody to compete with him. They already did. They brought in Hufanga, but Hufanga's more of a box safety. Yeah. And he may get better in coverage, but he lacked coverage skills. And I think we can use another guy that could interchange because on the 49ers, the safety positions are interchangeable. So a young guy who can probably not start right away unless he's an absolute playmaker, who I think they should go for and beat Tart out, is where I think that's where my biggest question mark would be, is to get somebody to compete with Tart. Because he's good when he's on, but he's always injured. He's like Jimmy G of the defense.
Do you want to have somebody like Diggs? What's his name? Tavon Diggs?
Oh no.
I mean, he gives up a lot of yards, but he makes big plays.
Mm-mm. He's too much of a gambler, man. He got cooked against us.
Yeah.
I think I would go for either an edge guy or a playmaking guy you can put anywhere really, like Fitzpatrick, Derwin James type of dude in the second round. You can get.
I love Derwin James.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Derwin James, when you look at Florida State players, like again, I'm a diehard Florida State fan. Jalen Ramsey to me has always been overrated, and I feel like that's why Eric Whittle came back. For real, I mean the guy is overrated. But then you look at a guy like Derwin James. Oh my God, he's an absolute monster back there.
You give me Derwin James over Jalen Ramsey any day of the week.
Of course, and you give him 2 more years, he's going to be referred to as the real Revis of this decade, James Island.
That's asking a lot, man. That's asking a lot.
Who, Derwin?
It's asking a lot, but I could see it happening, man. I could see it happening, especially if teams stop going his way. If teams stop going his way next season, you can really see him having his own island.
Well, Derwin James is a safety though. He's not a corner.
Still, when you look at that back end, the corner and safety to me, they work in pairs. You know, if this guy get past you, if I'm in the back, that's my job to stop anything else coming from back there. I'm me being a safety, I'm the last resort.
Well, most of Ronnie Lott's stats came at safety, not a corner.
He didn't have his own island though. Like when you talk about island, you're talking about Revis, you're talking about
Sherman in his heyday.
I hate to say Sherman, but Sherman,
Dion. But you look
over there.
But you look at those corners though, man. They always had that back end help. Even if you didn't talk about it, you wouldn't throw that way because you know he's gonna stop you, and if he gets past that guy back there, is another one behind. So, I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. They work in pairs.
That's exactly why I say we need one of those guys. We need to get one of Jimmy's picks, try to move up earlier in the second round, and find one of those guys that can come in and be playmakers day one. And we'll all forget about Tart. But
if that play came within the last 2 minutes of the game, then yeah, that's a crucial play that could have saved us and helped us. But I feel like we could stop talking about that play right now because it was still 9 minutes left in the damn game. That play wouldn't have changed a damn thing. It really didn't.
Would have helped, don't get us wrong, but it doesn't. It didn't cost us the game.
Right. So, I mean, momentum could have came to us for like what 2 minutes, and then Jimmy would have gave it right back. So,
who knows? This is the thing, you know. Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
The funny thing about Jimmy is I see why they refer to him, or at least give him the little nickname Clutch. Like he does that crap in the last 3 minutes of the game. Like he stopped thinking and he just plays. Like he really does. I don't like to say it.
He's quality in the 2 minute drill.
Yeah, he is. He is. Now you get that in Jimmy. I give you that, but you don't want to always be at that point.
No, it did make me wonder sometimes. I mean, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but it did make me wonder why they didn't try a little bit of hurry up here and there. Not permanently, but just throw it in randomly, catch people off guard. And Jimmy, here you go. You're going into essentially a 2 minute drill here. Go for it.
I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it happen throughout the season.
Yeah, we saw when he first came to the team. Remember, we talked about this the other day. He came in and was just playing back. He didn't know the playbook. He was just going in there and threw it to who he saw open. So
whoever was open, he was just throwing it. Yeah.
But it's like it seemed like once he was expected to know the playbook and go through his reads and start thinking more about what Kyle wanted him to do is when he started to fall apart more.
His IQ started showing up, right?
Yeah.
Too much for him.
Maybe he was just better being a freaking Brett Favre out there and just slinging it left and right. I don't know. Was it Kyle that was killing this dude's confidence? I don't know. I mean, probably not, but he just looked a lot better year one. I don't know if the injury played into it, but
it has to.
Sometimes, he's too much thinking for Jimmy is no good.
But he got hurt in New England too, so I don't see the injury playing into it at all. Before he came to us, he was hurt.
Right.
So the injury was not even gonna talk about an injury the way he was playing the first 5 games when he came to the Niners. Like you said, he didn't know the playbook. He just went out there and was a veteran, 4-year veteran. Let it slang, let it get out there. He was making plays. We seen what was happening. We was happy. But like you said, once he learned that playbook got too much for him. Like you really seen his IQ at that point. So
he was still the player that we needed then. He brought us forward. I mean, we were in a mess. I mean, Christ almighty, we started that season with Brian Hoyer under center, for God's sake.
Yeah. But I still think like I said, I go back to a lot of big misses, and we've had our chances to make it right, and we've just completely missed.
Now, I heard Carson Wentz is better than Jimmy. It's an upgrade to Jimmy. Do you believe that?
Not at all.
No.
More injury prone, and that's it.
Yeah.
Who would you put on there? Who would you put? Maybe. Okay, give me 5 quarterbacks that is not, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, none of them. Give me 5 quarterbacks right now in Jimmy's state that better than Jimmy.
The quarterbacks in that group is always going to be subjective. You're going to have some person saying, some person's going to say Baker Mayfield, whereas another person saying he won't. A lot of that's subjective. You've got that group of quarterbacks in that part of it. I think they're all similar. They all have their ups. They all have their downs. But ultimately, the one big thing is, do they win the big game?
I would say Ryan Tannehill is one of them. I know he gets
a lot of
Jimmy comparison, so I would say Ryan Tannehill. I don't consider Stafford elite, so I would say Stafford. Say Stafford as well. I would say Derek Carr.
That
There's
was a
another
top
guy.
name. That was a top name saying that they can win a Super Bowl with.
Derek Carr. So that's 3 guys right there. I don't even know. Let's just say who else is out there. I would even throw on is Kyler Murray elite?
Yeah,
No.
give him this season. Give him this season. Give him this season to see what happens. Is he going to be placed in that category?
Dak Prescott.
Okay.
I'm about to say, please do not say Cam Newton. I don't want to hear Cam Newton's name.
No.
I can't stand Cam Newton. I'm sorry.
I even think the Texans quarterback, the rookie, is better than Jimmy.
I know.
Oh, Davis Mills.
Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for a fact, Ron, you took my first one. That was Ryan Tannehill.
Baker is equivalent to Jimmy, in my opinion.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield though, I think Jimmy is slightly an upgrade over him. Slight. So right. I wouldn't put Baker over Jimmy, but Carr, Tannehill, yeah,
I would put Jalen Hurts.
Nah.
They're on about trading. I mean, Christ, the Eagles are talked about as being one of the trade partners potentially for Jimmy.
So I'm looking at the rankings. And they
but they're not gonna give us no damn Jalen Hurts.
No, we ain't gonna get no Jalen Hurts. But I'm saying, like, the original question was, who would you put in comparison to Jimmy that's better than him, and that is not elite. And elite to me is like top 5. So elite is Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Damn, they even have Murray at 3. I disagree with that. Herbert, Burrow. I would move.
It's
Burrow
because
in
of
the
his
top
skills.
5,
that's all.
And I would say Lamar Jackson. That's where it ends.
Lamar,
I wouldn't put Lamar elite. His passing stats aren't good enough.
Okay, so we pull Lamar out. We can still move up Rodgers. You guys disagree with Rodgers in the top 5?
He's a top 5.
Yeah. He's the
And then Jimmy.
That's why I didn't name those guys.
Dude, Jimmy's 31 on this list. He's next to Teddy Bridgewater.
I think that's harsh.
How are we expecting a 2
That's
for
overly
him?
harsh.
Yeah, and this is this is Pro Football Focus. So
there you go. That's
there you go. They don't like us too much.
That answers that question,
right?
But see, the thing about it is though, PFF got us down there, and what CBS gonna probably have us at like 25. Who else does? And then Bleachers probably gonna have us at what? Maybe under 20. I don't see Jimmy being top 20. I see him 20 and under on all these stat form that you're gonna look at right now. If he's higher, I'll be shocked.
Jimmy on CBS.
I don't know how long you guys want to go for. I know I'm about to get my kids their baths, so the way they're doing. But you guys keep talking if you want to.
No, we'll probably cut it out in 10 minutes or so.
Yeah. All right. I'm about to give their baths anyways, so get them done.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, because I just don't see Jimmy being a top 20 quarterback. Now, in some stats, he is. I will give you that. In some stats, he is like.
Name one.
Sheesh.
And I will counter it. If you say completion percentage, I'm gonna be
have a ridiculous completion percentage or something.
The passes were 3 to 5 yards deep every time.
But that's not. But like, okay, going up the middle, I believe that was Jimmy's best stat. He was best at going to the middle. No other quarterback went to the middle more than Jimmy.
And then you take the middle away, and then what happens?
He's just Jimmy.
He sucks.
I'm just saying.
He sucks.
It'll just be Jimmy. But no, I've come across some stats that he is like the best at. If I could run back over it on Twitter again.
Because Jimmy fans will tell you all day long, well, he has the highest completion percentage in the league.
Yeah, that it kills me, right?
But I'm like, bro, he's throwing. Just go see the yak stats for all these guys.
But you can only complete the pass you need to complete.
True.
At the end of the day, if that's what's open, you take it, you complete it. You can't have a go at him because he completed it.
Now, so so then I would want to ask, like, well, okay, well, what's his average passing yards? Like, where is he? Is he
I
above
think it's
10
really
yards?
low. I think it's only like 4 or
It's
5 yards
bad.
or something, isn't
Yeah,
it? His average.
right.
Yeah,
So
I think we
then,
talked about it. Jimmy hasn't even thrown for 4,000 yards, right?
well, average pass. Um,
I seen this thread on
It's
here,
pretty
man.
low.
yeah. So Jimmy was number 6 in completion percentage,
Mhm.
and this is off of ESPN.com, by the way. Actually, Jimmy averaged 8.6 yards.
Jesus. Was that was the point of catch from the line of
But
scrimmage?
so yeah, so I think Yak, it doesn't separate because you shouldn't get credit for throwing the ball 3 yards and then Debo running it 100 yards to the house.
That's why we
And
have That's why we have the yaks, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So
You've got
that
the efficiency chart that David Lombardi runs with, and that takes a few different metrics in.
right into
Yes.
exactly.
It does that, and Jimmy still placed quite high on the efficiency chart, and yeah, he's not a bad quarterback.
So okay, so let's just rerun that question.
Yeah,
again.
he's really not. He's really not a bad quarterback, but it's just he gives you a headache with the plays that he make on the field. That's all.
Is he a dumb quarterback then?
I ain't gonna go that far and call the man dumb.
He's still one of the 32 best people in the entire world at that thing.
Yeah.
So then what do we call Jimmy? Just average?
I'd say
You know what?
That's probably fair.
You know what? I'm just gonna stick with Bridge. I guess Bridge will be considered between average and starting.
Yeah, and that's fine because
Yeah.
that's what we needed.
Bridge gets you paid.
Yeah. So I guess that's what he is. If he's getting paid like a starting quarterback but playing like a freaking backup, he's a Bridge. But I mean, his agility score was 70th, the 70th position at like 11.3 seconds. Slow burst. 40-yard dash was 4.9. This is all Jimmy now.
Mhm.
His throw velocity is at 56 mile per hour. That came in 65th place, and I don't know what the hell is a Wonderlic score is, but he scored 18.
Oh,
IQ, it's basically
that's the
like
IQ
equivalent
test,
to
yeah.
That's the
test.
IQ. Well, he scored 24. He was the 18th best in that. So I mean,
Wow, that's quite low.
Yeah.
yeah. So his IQ, his football IQ is very low. Like I've been calling it out, and I have not even seen those metrics yet.
Okay. So we won't use the word dumb, but we will use IQ's not as sharp as it should be at that position.
It's not stellar. But
Yeah.
It just all it shows is just how good you can see the field, see the plays, and how smart you are in learning the shit. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah.
because I think the trade-off isn't Fred Warner's Wonderlic score was near perfect, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, his best comparable person is Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Can't
I would
win the
agree.
big game.
You agree
Good.
with that?
I agree
Yeah, it's
because
not far off.
there are
Oh,
just
wow.
some plays where you're just left scratching your head as to what they were looking at.
It annoys me so much though that I like Romo as a commentator.
Yeah. Me too.
I
Right,
really,
so-
I when they say that he's going to be the guys in the booth, I'm like, oh, brilliant! I haven't got to put up with some idiots this time, thank God.
Well, it makes you wonder why he was so smart in the booth, yet made some of the decision making on the field. I mean, dude, if you
It's
saw
nuts.
everything coming,
He see it. He calls it out, and I'm like, damn, dude, really? He couldn't do that on the field? For real?
he calls the play out. Yeah, just by looking, I'm like, wow, okay.
It's insane what he's done in the booth. In fairness,
I guess it's different when you're playing, though.
Jimmy's efficiency accuracy rating is 7th in the league at 7.9. Yards per attempt is 2nd in the league at 8.6. This is all 2021 now.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was that high.
Adjusted yard is 7.8, so he's 4th in the league on that one. His air yard 7.4, 26. So he's
Air
better than-
yards.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Air
So he's
yards.
better than about seven other quarterbacks in the league.
That makes sense.
The deep ball is 30.6%. That's 29th.
Yeah.
So we know it ain't
We knew that was coming.
Now, pressured completion percentage rate, 58.6%. That was number 1.
Jeez.
Under pressure.
Yeah.
That's
Play
not
action
right.
completion percentage at 71%. That's number 2 in the league. Red zone percentage, 56.9%. Came in at 18.
Is that all? Because we were the top red zone offense in the entire league.
That's all it was.
With running, though. That's based off passing or just
I didn't think it was that biased towards the run.
passing stats, yeah.
This is based on Jimmy's stats. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, when we got to the red zone, we ran the ball in.
Yeah, so the quarterback himself came in at 18, not the team as a whole. Now, clean pocket completion, 70.1%. He came in at 16. And a catchable pass rate, 82.3%. That was 4th in the league.
That was what you cut out then?
The catchable pass rate, 82.4. He came in number 4th.
4th.
Yeah.
Right. But we know he doesn't throw the ball deep, and we know he doesn't have air yards. So
it's just like you said. It's just like you said. It's the yak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, true passing.
I mean, ultimately, you can make any statistic prove whatever you want it to prove.
That's the damn truth right there.
Yeah, if you want to go out and prove that Jimmy G's the number 1 quarterback, you can sit down and piss about with those stats all day long, and you can make them do exactly that. It doesn't make him the number 1 quarterback.
The question really is:
really
are those stats worth $25 million to $27 million a year?
No, it's not being used like that, dude. I mean, no. I mean, you talking about rushing.
When we signed into that contract, though, we were in a position where we were having to overpay players.
Yeah.
It was a necessity. I mean, you look at all the players for a couple of years before that. We overpaid Anquan Bolden by a hell of a lot. Pierre Garçon, we overpaid him, but we had to do it to get to where we are now.
I mean, did we even make it anywhere with those guys?
No. I think that's where I think some of Kyle's inexperience and John's inexperience is why I always point to. I think there was some really bad deals, and not just deals, draft picks too.
I'm not so worried about the deals because the deals needed to be done to make us a desirable destination. They had other purposes other than specifically what was happening on the field. It was making sure that we were getting away from what happened in the years under Chip Kelly and Jim Tonsula.
So
I won't use those words again. I apologize to you guys. But we had to do those things. The draft, there's a bit more culpability because that's your job. That's what they're there to do and to develop them. That there's more there.
So the receivers yak per target was 4.64. That was the number 1. That was number 1 in the league.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the receiver target separation was 1.59. That was 62nd in the league.
What?
Yeah, the receiver target separation. So I'm guessing the time that they have to get separated or how long he took to develop, like to wait for the play to develop, I guess. He waited too long. That's the only thing I could see from expected point added at a negative 0.3. That was 63rd in the league. His QBR, he came in at 14, 52.6. And his true passer rating is the number 12 at 0.2. So, I mean, like you said, looking at these stats, if I'm front office and just going based off them, I probably do slide the Niners a 3rd rounder or something like that. No more.
It's all going to depend on the market, though. I think you said in previous shows, Matt, I think it was one of the first shows I was on with you guys. If there was a couple of dominoes fall, like Rodgers stays, Wilson stays, all of a sudden Jimmy's price starts to climb.
Yeah,
and who knows
what Watson.
Who knows what happens at that point?
I mean, if those guys, Rodgers, Wilson, Watson, and even Kyler Murray right now, if those guys stay put, then yeah, Jimmy is the best damn thing on the market as far as quarterback. So,
this is it.
Yeah.
Who knows what can happen? That's it. Just gonna have to wait and see. I don't think we'll have to wait long either. So I think the rumors are they want him traded by March 16th.
By March 16th, March 14th is the legal tempering date to when they can actually start talking. But I think somewhere about March 8th, you can really start to hear the chatter on who's going where, but the 14th is when they are legally allowed to start talking to agents and players. And the 16th is when it opens up.
I think a lot of the telling thing is that we're not seeing any teams coming out and saying they love specific quarterbacks in the draft, and that's as telling as anything.
Last minute show up. What's Paul?
Hello, mate.
Evening, gents.
Yo.
Evening.
I know this guy you haven't met yet. He's the other one of the UK guys, Paul. So
what's up, Paul?
Nice to see you, Paul, bud.
Nice to finally meet you, brother.
Yes, you too. I've been watching bits tonight while I've been sorting the kids and stuff out, and I nearly fell off my chair when you suggested trading George Kittle, because me and Nick are all in with Club 85. So I was sending my boy Welsh Nick a message saying, no, please, no.
I mean, you can't help it, though. You know, you got to look at the business side of things. I mean, great player, great guy. I would love to keep him on the team, but if it came down to it, then you got to say sorry. Can't be emotionally involved with the players, but emotionally involved with the organization, right?
Now, to be fair,
fans, of course we can.
I did send Nick a message saying you were speaking a lot of sense, but last couple of weeks have been crazy. I don't know if Ryan's told you, I've ruptured my Achilles.
Ooh.
So
man.
I was going to get into it, but I didn't want to get into it, you know.
So my other half's been doing everything and anything, bless her. So I am keen to get involved with the US, UK show that Ryan's got going on. So thought I'd just jump on and quickly introduce myself to everyone.
Nice.
That's great, man. That's great. Well, damn.
Welcome to the family. That's all I have to say to you. Welcome to the family, man.
Yeah, well, 41, Mav. I've been working from home with this blooming pandemic for 2 years. And Welsh Nick had been talking me into playing flag football. So I went for my first ever session and broke a finger. Then the second session, I went and did some running, and my Achilles at 41 years old decided that, maybe football's not for you, mate. Stick to watching it. Stick to talking about it.
Get up and get going again, mate. Get better, get going. Why not?
But no, I've caught bits of the show tonight. So obviously, it's Ryan's been pushing the show, and he's been sending me messages, bless him, and it's just not fitted for the schedule. So while I've got the last 20 minutes, I thought I'm going to jump on. So just thought I'd introduce myself.
Of course. Welcome to the show, man.
Yeah,
good
actually,
to have you.
Paul, I think I sent you a follow request this morning. So good to meet you, man.
Yeah, like I said,
Yep.
definitely the you guys tonight, the show's been, I mean, I've got an 8, 12 and 14-year-old. They all know Welsh Nick. Unfortunately, gents, Nick has been the star of the show tonight in our house because they know Nick from...
He's been holding it down, man. He's been holding it down.
Oh, well, you know.
You think a day off there, Nick?
Well,
That's it, man.
Getting outnumbered, mate. You're the only UK fan, so I've had to jump on because you were being outnumbered there, mate.
It's all right. Like I think we said before, though, and if it came down to it, I'd be fighting with the Americans against the English. It's all good.
Hey, he's definitely doing. He's holding it down.
He's holding down the fort, man.
You're trying.
And to be fair, Mav, you're right in what you're saying. We say that over here, that you can't get too emotionally attached. It is a business. And I did a show on Friday, and it was with a Jets fan, and he was trying to lead me down the Jimmy Trey conversation. And I was like, yes, you've seen the tweets from Adam Schefter. Jimmy's getting traded. Don't worry. You're not getting anything controversial from me. But you can't. It's a business. You were talking about Tomlinson before. As much as I'd love him to stay, you don't want to overpay. You know, it's a business. And if you can get the money somewhere else, happy days. But as you've probably got from Nick, being a UK fan, we don't get access to the stuff you guys have. And we have to stay up till 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning to watch football. So for you guys to give the likes of me and Nick a platform to come on and gain our knowledge. It's just fantastic, man.
Of course,
Nice.
man. And whenever you guys need a guest host, just send me a link. I'm there. I'm
Yep.
pretty
You
sure.
already know
Ronda
about
be
me,
there,
Nick.
too.
You already know about me, Paul. I'm there.
We all here, man.
You got
So,
me video
Let me
already.
know.
You know.
Let me know.
especially when you got these outside fans trying to jump down your throat about being a 49er fan, you make sure you call your boys. We got you.
Yeah. To be fair, the Jets fan, he's pretty all right. He's starting to show similar to Ryan, and he's trying to grow his content. But it was funny when he sent me the link to go on. I knew it was going to be the Jimmy and Trey conversation. And as soon as he started with the Adam Schefter tweet, I was like, I'm just going to stop that right there. $25 million tells me why Jimmy G won't be back next season. But like you said, it is interesting that other fans want to talk about our team. I mean, we are the best franchise in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
You can't blame them.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
I mean, the Adam Schefter thing, Ryan Clark and Booger McFarland, all those guys, to me, that's all smoke screens right now until the combine starts. I mean, you could talk whatever you want to talk about. Trey Lance isn't ready, but again, what the hell does it mean to be ready? And what player have ever been ready to step in and start winning right away? You know, they still have to learn the game. It's a different pace. It's a different speed. Like, I mean, different system, different coaches that you have to deal with. Now you have to deal with front offices instead of going to the dean's office. If you get, it's like, so everything's different. When you sit there and tell me Trey Lance is not ready, I'm gonna ask, like, did you have something in your eyes or something, or is something clouding your mind? Because I mean, hell, Trevor Lawrence was not ready, but yeah, he still went number 1 pick overall, and look at him now. You think he's going to do any better next season?
Well, I said that to the Jets fan, Mav. I was saying, he asked me a question, which as all 49ers fans, you'll probably chuckle at. He said, if this time next year you guys have missed out on the playoffs, Trey has had the rookie growing pains, would you be happy? And I said, well, it depends, because we'd be sat here next year saying we've got a 22-year-old quarterback that's not ready, but he's had a full season in the NFL. Right. And he was like, never thought of it like that before. And I was like, who said Trey Lance is going to hit the ground in September and be the next Patrick Mahomes? I don't know any 49ers fan who's saying that. What we're saying is, give him a chance. He's sat behind Jimmy. He's learned Kyle's system, and there's going to be growing pains. I've got a friend who's a Bills fan, and he keeps going on about Josh Allen. And I said, but Josh Allen wasn't lights out from day one. It took Josh Allen a couple of years in the league. And I said to my friend, that's what Kyle wants. He wants a Josh Allen-style quarterback. He doesn't want a Lamar Jackson. He wants Trey to learn his offense, stand in the pocket, use his arm. But if the play breaks down, use his legs. And it's just funny when we're in the off-season, how my missus was like, you won't be talking as much football anymore, will you now? I was like, you're joking, are you? 49ers fan.
There's more to talk about.
Man.
Well, there's always plenty.
Now, I look at an argument that I had with another 49er fan about Trey Lance. Oh, it's best for him to sit down for the year. He could learn, and once he gets on the field next year, he'll be ready. Me? You're talking to a guy that played the game organized versus a guy who played the game as far as like Sandlot, but he watches organized games. So when I'm sitting here telling him, dude, I'm the type of player, a person that I have to get my hands on it. I have to be on that field. I have to run myself. That's the best way that I can be better. Sitting down, reading a book, ain't gonna do nothing but just, okay, it's implanted in my mind. It's in my memory. Like, you give me a test on it and I probably ace it. That's it. But put me on the field. So when I tell him that Trey Lance is going to struggle, I love Trey. I was ready to see him. But at least the first 5 games, the kid is going to struggle until he actually get his feet. Or should I say, until he actually runs against his Houston, Texas number 2.0. That he takes off from there. So the less playing time you give him, the more he is actually going to take him to be the quarterback you want him to be. Not saying he's not going to be ready to play, but the quarterback you want him to be is going to take him a lot longer if you just sit him and have him reading a playbook for another year.
I look at it from a slightly different perspective in that the sitting down thing, at least then when he gets on the field, he's going to have his struggles. Like you say, it's to be expected. But when he gets back to, gets back into the coaching with the coaches after a game, he's going to know where the mistake was made. He's going to be able to identify his mistakes. And that's what that year will give him. It'll give him the opportunity to improve far quicker at that point, because he won't have the excuse of, I've not really seen this before. He doesn't have to learn the play as well. He can just go, okay, that was my mistake. Now I can learn from it. It's a quicker process at that point.
I guess what I should have put in there is that they expected the whole argument was Trey Lance sitting down, he's gonna come out the floodgates and just blow us away. That was my whole argument with him. For me, he's going to struggle his first couple of games. Oh no, he's gonna, just because he sat down. Look at Aaron Rodgers, sat down for 4 years, but Aaron Rodgers didn't have no breaks from when he started playing football until he got into the NFL. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of people fail to realize, Patrick Mahomes, the same thing with Patrick Mahomes. There was in transition, and Patrick Mahomes would probably set down a whole nother year had Alex Smith not get hurt the way he did.
Probably.
So, I mean, you can't really use a comparison to Patrick Mahomes because the Chiefs didn't reach for the stars. They didn't go and grab him like that, like we did Trey Lance. To me, that's the main reason why Trey Lance is such a hot topic, because of the reach. That's it.
See, the problem for us, Mav, for me and Nick in the UK, a lot of the fans just watch Red Zone or they watch their own team and they get spoilt by the flashy players that you see, unless you watch a proper game from start to finish. And like you said, Mav, a lot of people, because Kyle came in when Mahomes was drafted, and they keep saying, we should have drafted Mahomes, we should have drafted Watson. It's easy in hindsight, isn't it, gents, to look back on a previous draft and say, we should have drafted that guy. And like Nick said, for me, Trey's had a year to learn. I'm ready to see him installed. And Nick's probably told you, Jimmy's got a lot of love over here in the UK. In our 49er Faithful UK group, there's a lot of die-hard Jimmy stands, as some people would call them. And they're ready for Trey to come in. There's a good friend of mine, and Nick's Neil. He's been Jimmy's biggest fan. And he was messaging me at the weekend and he was like, it's time for Jimmy to move on now. I'm ready for Trey to come in. And he's arguably our biggest fan of Jimmy. And he's the one who would jump in and have an argument with you any day of the week. And even he's ready to move on. So what more can you say?
Yeah. I mean, it's okay to be a fan of Jimmy, but you also have to acknowledge his flaws. And that's what gets me with these Niner fans. They won't acknowledge his flaws. The only thing is he's a winner. He's a winner. No. The team wins. Please, let's get it right, people. Win is a team stats. It's not an individual stat. It's not a quarterback stat. Now, is he a helpful factor in the team wins? Yes, I would give him that. But we also have to acknowledge his flaws. I mean, everybody can't just be giving Jimmy all his high praises, keeping him on his pedestal, and not acknowledging what he does wrong. When we sit there and crucify people like Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard, it's always about what they did wrong, but never what they did good. You see how backwards we are as fans? Like if the guy's garbage, he's garbage, but he does some good things too. We just didn't see that because his bad plays overshadowed his good. In Jimmy's case, it was the locker room that was overshadowing his bad. If I'm making any sense to anybody right now.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So, yeah, I mean, I nobody wanted to acknowledge his flaws. So once you start acknowledging Jimmy G's flaws, you a Jimmy hater. So
that's just a social media thing, because the only thing that's popular on social media is either love or hate. There is no in between. You're not allowed to be in between. Because if you're in between, you're not getting likes, you're not getting retweets. This is why, and I'm not going to say his full name because I don't want to give him any form of praise at all. Grunt.
Debo's just blocked him tonight.
Good. All right. That man is only That man is only doing well because everything with him is hatred. and people have gotten to the point where it's true hatred with a lot of people with Jimmy, and they're latching on to that.
Yeah.
And that's where he gets his clicks, because that's all he is. He's clickbait.
But I think it goes both ways though, because so we're getting that with Trey. Yeah, like Mav said, it's like the kid hasn't even really played, and we got guys just absolutely just they can't stand the kid already.
I know.
And when Jimmy came around, I may be wrong. I wasn't very active on Twitter at the time, but I think I want to say 90 to 95% of 49ers fans were actually excited about Jimmy coming over. We thought he was like the second coming of Jesus.
I wasn't.
And I think, like I said, 90 to 95%. And I think that a lot of it fell off after he lost after the Super Bowl. I think that's when a lot of people were ready to just say, we're done.
Yeah,
we're done.
The switch got flipped, didn't it?
It did. And that's when a lot of people just abandoned ship with Jimmy. And we were like, yeah, no, this guy's not going to win. And that's when a lot of things started to resurface with like us drafting Solomon Thomas, not getting Deshaun, not getting Mahomes. People started to boil on that. And that's when, he started getting a negative fan base towards him. Like people just started, a lot of 49ers don't like to hear that. You're right. They don't like to hear that. And they, especially the Jimmy stands. But with Trey, it's like, dude, are you just simply knocking on the kid because it's payback for when we started to fall off the bandwagon with Jimmy? It's not like we went in hating Jimmy. I think a lot, besides Mav, I guess, the one person I've known to admit that, a lot of the people gave this kid the benefit of the doubt. We were very welcoming in the real world as well. Like, okay, I didn't want Kirk Cousins I've never liked Kirk Cousins.
No.
I'm glad honestly, I was like, dude, yeah. And I was very receptive to Jimmy. And I would, at this time, make up excuses for him. I didn't like to hear Florio. I didn't like to hear outside people talk bad on Jimmy either. But then after I started to really see, like, the injuries, his image keeping up, and there's just some red flags there with the guy, and then the boneheaded plays where any casual fan can just be like, dude, what the hell? We lost that game because of you, dude. We lost that game because of you. And that's when I'm like, all right, it's time for somebody new. But now with Trey, it's like, come on, guys. Like, dude, you haven't even given this kid a chance. Like, I don't think you understand what
Isn't this the first time that you've actually heard everybody around the league, including fans, using the word not ready to play a game?
He's not ready. He's not ready.
It's the first time I've ever heard that in NFL history.
This kid's coming off he's from the FCS. He's young. He hasn't played football forever. And he's being asked to jump into an NFL quarterback position.
The FCS, they get no love, bro. It's like that. I just don't like that. There's a lot of great players that goes to these small schools. Just because you didn't play for Alabama, Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, or LSU does not make you any less of a better player than these guys that goes out there. And half of the time, those guys are overrated to me, honestly.
It's just really difficult to see what that player is going to look like as a man. That's a really hard thing to see. Like, okay, we saw him as a kid in college and what he can do. What is he going to look like 5-6 years down the road when he's a full-grown man? That's a hard thing to see. That's why I question with the Trey hate. I'm just like, I don't understand it. It's like, how can you sit here and like root for this kid to fail? Like,
I think it's just a case of people have drawn their line in the sand, and no matter what, they ain't crossing it. They don't care.
Yeah, then go with Jimmy. If you like Jimmy so much, go with him. Go like the team he goes.
I think that's all it is. I think it's just always this a social media thing.
The thing is, Nick, like, in the UK, we all jumped on the Jimmy bandwagon, fellas. I've got jerseys, I've got bobbleheads, I've got cards, but I'm a 49ers fan. Whoever's playing quarterback, I want my team to win. And like you said, why do people want Trey to fail? I mean, a lad who lives across the road from me is a Rams fan, and he's all right, to be fair to him. He was very quiet up until halfway through the season, and last few weeks, bless him, I've seen him wearing more Rams gear than I've ever seen him wear in his life before. But, I'll give him that one. but he was beating me with the draft pick stick. And I was like, you're a Rams fan. You give draft picks away like confetti. Yes, we could have given 3 first for Trey, but if he's going to be our quarterback for the next 5, 6, 7 years, it's a small price to pay. But it's weird how the Rams get praised for giving away their draft picks. Yeah, we're getting beaten. Like you said, Ron, I know he only played, 318 snaps in college. But you look at the tape, Kyle Shanahan knows more about quarterbacks than I do. And if that's who Kyle Shanahan wants as his quarterback, boom, I had to disagree. But it is a strange one. And, like you said, when I went on that show earlier in the week, and as soon as he led me down that road, and I know I've come on tonight and I've interrupted your draft talk and I've thrown the hand grenade in there. That's Jimmy and Trey, but it's going to keep us entertained, fellas, for the next so many months.
I don't know. Sometimes I think the disconnect is with the argument does become, if you're a Jimmy stan, it's like, well, the players love him. He's a great dude. And if you're a Trey fan, it's like, well, obviously the front office doesn't love him as much as the players do because they're looking to move on from him. So,
man, Jimmy got that porn star look. That's all it is, man. That's why they call him porn star Jimmy over here.
I mean, he's a great guy. Yeah, I'm sure he's a great dude. He looks like an awesome dude. No one's taking that away from him. But at the end of the day, we need a good football player.
Why does that have to be the argument on why we want to get rid of him? I mean, yeah, he's a great guy, good dude. You love him, leader. I get that, but he's not helping you win as a player. So, like, again, this is a business. We got to stop being too damn emotionally involved and attached to these players. I mean, you can still like them even if they go somewhere else. Who's telling you not to love George Kittle if he does get traded? Who's telling you not to love Elijah Mitchell if he does get somewhere? Like, come on, we gotta. I guess since
we've got a whole Club 85 in the UK that says different, Mav. Me and Nick don't want Kittle going.
Look, it's okay.
Get rid of him next year.
We're fans. We're not in the front
saying.
office. We're fans. We're allowed to be emotionally involved with players. We are.
Yeah. But I'm saying you emotionally involved to the player as you get your club. Even if he goes somewhere else, you still supporting that athlete, that player. I get that. But when it comes to the organization that you root for, that's who you have to be as a fan. That's who you really have to be loyal to and be like, okay, I'm right with you no matter what stupid, dumb moves you make. I'm still a fan that I'm red and gold till I'm dead and cold.
Yeah, see, but there's got to be a balance too, though, because like some fans want to manage a team like it's fantasy football. And they're just trying to, swap this guy out. Is this guy available? Let's get this guy. And how about this guy? Let's see who's the top 5 tight ends. Let's get that guy. Football doesn't work that way. The business doesn't work that way. And you can't blame fans for being emotionally attached. It really comes down to, does that move make sense? There's a lot more questions than just, should we replace this guy? Okay,
and there you go. There you go. But see, those the decisions that front office makes. Those the questions that the front office asks. So if we do start thinking like the front office and stuff like that, then we can kind of somewhat see why they're making these moves that they're making. But if we're just being fans and outside, not reading nothing, not listening to no podcasts or no kind of news, then when it happens, we're wondering why. We're going crazy. We don't see it because we're just ready for the season.
We're not in everybody.
All you've got to do is allow, once a move has happened, then you've just got to give it time.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens and not jump on the whole bandwagon on Twitter of immediately wanting someone out just so that you can say, I was first on that.
Right.
Yeah, right.
To be fair, Nick, though, sorry, Mav, when I was listening earlier, you raised a very good point I had to agree with because I've got a lot of time on my hands. I've just read the Bill Walsh book, The Score Takes Care of Itself. And he talks a lot about he'd rather a player went a year early than a year late. And when you were talking to Nick about Kittle and I was messaging Nick, I was thinking, as much as I want to come and defend Nick, you've got a very good point. And if Bill Walsh is making that point, I'm not going to argue against that point. So,
because of Bill Walsh, it became a Niners thing. It became a Niners rule now. That is our way. We gonna get rid of you before we like Jimmy right now. I feel like is the only piece that we should have got rid of last year that we held on to, and that is why we're having this conversation.
I will agree with that.
Get rid of Jimmy. Last year, we're not talking about is Trey Lance ready. We're not talking about who's backing him up. We're not talking about what we're doing with Debo and Nick Bosa. Those would have been answered already.
I mean, if I'm Kyle and Brady calls me a year right after we just blow the Super Bowl, I mean, I was ready to move on from Jimmy right after the Super Bowl. I really was. I'm like, I think that we're not going to win with this guy at quarterback. And it's a hard, cold truth I had to come to terms with. And that's just what it is.
I was talked by another 49er fan to give Jimmy G a chance when we made that trade for him. When we made that trade, I started going crazy. Patriot system. You behind Tom Brady. No other quarterback has really played games behind Tom Brady, except for Jarrett Stidham, Brian Hoyer. I mean, they've played, but have they taken over the season? No. So, he got 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, he got 2 Super Bowls sitting on the bench. He did not contribute to those damn Super Bowls. Let's get it right.
I think as a fan, you always want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know, because you're a loyal, diehard fan. But yeah, Jimmy came in with questions, and it was his injury history that, that's why they got him for a second round pick. I don't know. But yeah, I was ready to move on from Jimmy a lot sooner than other people were. And that's just based off his play. It has nothing to do with who Jimmy is. Strictly based off his play and what are we getting for what we're paying him? What are we getting for what are we paying for? Why hasn't he taken a pay cut? He's not going to take a pay cut.
We should have moved on. We should have moved on from 2020.
And then you go in and then you convince Jed York to keep him another year, right? Because you may think you're going to get something in return. Have Jimmy drive up his trade value this year. That doesn't happen. It's just another prime example of Jimmy not coming through.
I mean, how often does that happen? How often does another player drive up their draft style or trade stocks?
And Nick Foles. I mean,
being a backup.
It happens a lot.
A lot. You got guys getting overpaid, like Kevin Cobb. Let's go. You guys remember Kevin Cobb? He had 2 starts with the Packers.
Sam Bradford made a career
out of it.
Yeah, but you didn't hear nobody talking about it like they talking about Jimmy, though.
Well,
yeah, but you didn't have social media in the same way as you have now.
Okay,
right.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, chances are those conversations were being had in bars. They just weren't being had
exactly
with hundreds of people chiming in on Twitter. They were having with 3 or 4 people at a bar.
That is fair. I take that.
That's why I always wonder, I like Mav, you always say, like you either think of it as a front office guy. I like to think as all of them. That's why I have all these questions. It's like, okay, Jimmy was, the rumors came out that Kyle didn't like Jimmy after the Super Bowl. Well, he turned down Brady. He said no to Brady. All right, we stay with Jimmy. And then you're going to go back in here, mortgage the farm for all these picks to get Trey Lance. And then you're going to kick the tires on Brady again. I mean, I don't know.
We'll see.
Sorry, Ryan. I came in and started the whole. We could talk for another 2 hours, and I'm not going to apologise for that, mate. You've been trying to get me on.
Thanks for holding the fort down for me, guys. Sorry.
I've been dying to meet these guys because, like I said, I've been tuning in and out watching the show. And
it's all good, man. It's all good.
All talking a lot of sense. To answer your question, Mav, when Jimmy was traded, I wasn't as active on social media and I wasn't doing the podcasts, and I've only really started with the pandemic and connecting with likes of Nick. And I just honestly thought we got to the end of this season and it would calm down. And even as a UK fan like me and Nick, like it's 10:30 at night here, we'll switch our phone off and I'll wake up in the morning and someone in the States will have tweeted something about Jimmy or Trey, or there's a spaces about it. And it's like, wow. And I've got a mate who loves Aaron Rodgers more than he loves the Packers, and he will go wherever Rodgers goes. And he's like, how can you just support your team? I was like, well, what do you mean? Why do you just support a player? I support the 49ers. And yes, I stay up till 3-4 o'clock in the morning to watch, and I'll jump on a podcast like this and talk with you guys. But like you said, it's going to be interesting this off season. before we jump off, because I know Ryan put the final thoughts on the bottom, is there anyone that I should be keeping an eye on in the draft? Because I don't watch a lot of college football. So this is the time now where I go back and do my deep dive and watch tape and stuff. So is there anyone I should be looking at?
Right now, we still waiting for the combine next week. I mean, we talked about it earlier, but the guys that we really talk about, they're big reaches for us. You know, so we really got to look at some low end guys, maybe 3rd, 4th round guys. Start looking there to really see the potential players that we can bring onto the Niners. Because I mean, again, we still have to wait on Jimmy to be moved. Yeah. To even see where, you know, what we get for him. That right there will determine who we need to start looking at. Because we can look at a lot of players. We can look at Darius Stingley Jr. like we talked about. We can look at free agents like Ryan Jensen we was talking about. We can look at all those guys, but until Jimmy gets moved,
it's a big domino that needs to fall, because it's not even just for the contract, is it?
Nah, it's for everything. We got to see it. The contract is one of the biggest parts, but then again, you really don't know who we're gonna look at. Like we discussed edge, we've discussed back end. I
will go back and watch the show. I know you guys are talking, and I'm following you all on Twitter. It's just this is the time of the year where I go back and watch college football, because I can't inflict college football on my missus when I dominate NFL Sundays, because Nick will tell you in the UK it starts at 6 o'clock our time on a Sunday, and it can go on till 3, 4 o'clock the next morning. So for me to say, can I watch college football as well 2 nights in a row? Outside.
We really gotta wait. I mean, we could talk about them all day long.
Right now, I would
really have to wait.
I would say I would look at, you know, whatever position you think is our biggest need, and Google your top college rankings in that position, and start working your way with like the top 5th or 6th player and punching them into YouTube to watch highlights, because top 1 or 2 in any position right now is probably out of reach for us.
Yeah.
I would start with top 5, 6 player at whatever ranking you're looking at, and
maybe bottom 5, not top 5.
Well, I mean, because if you got edge,
reason why I'm saying
top 10.
Reason why I'm saying 10? That it's the draft spot, 2nd round pick. So I mean, anybody from the top 5 has a better chance of sliding into that 2nd round.
Well, I would say like with edge rusher, like you're probably going to start looking at your rankings in 10, 15, 10, maybe 10 up. You're up 10 and below.
Yeah.
O-line as well. I think it's going to be really O-line, pass, edge, wide receiver heavy, and then all your playmaking safeties and corners are going to be there. So, like, if you're, like, for example, you want a corner like myself, I'm probably starting who's the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th guy on this list? Probably going to be within reach, unless we use one of those picks from Jimmy and try to move up.
And we also got to look at which position is deep too into the draft. Like, to me, when the position is so deep, I'm not even worried about looking at them, because I can get any player anywhere in that draft. My best thing would look at the classes, or I mean the position that has less to offer.
Where do you think our biggest need is, Paul?
I would say
what would you like to see?
Corner or edge. I'm nodding along with you two. And to be honest, me and Nick we'll do the PFF mock simulators, and we got addicted to them last year when we jumped up for Trey. But for me, I would be looking edge throughout front 7 setup. But I would like to see a corner. Please do not inflict Josh Norman on me again. Please.
That ain't happening. That ain't happening. Somebody asked me, do you think we should bring back Richard Sherman? Hell no. I didn't even want him on the team to begin with. So why the fuck but you know, it's all good. I mean, they make business moves. They know why. That's why I say, you know, I got to really start looking at how front office look at things. I got, you know, if I'm business minded, I have to start looking at the business side of the NFL. I'm a little too old to be trying to play football right now, so I gotta throw on a suit and tie now. You feel me?
I told Chuck and I told all the 49er fans I know. The only reason why I wanted Richard Sherman on this team was leadership. His playing ability, he's too old now. He don't have it anymore. So I don't care who says he does. He don't have it anymore. He doesn't.
People
Just
talk
leadership,
about
that's all it is.
leadership. People talk about leadership as if someone else can't just come along and give you that leadership.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we needed someone like Sherman to change our culture. Someone who'd been there and done it. And again,
Did
this
he
is
do it?
It doesn't matter. It's getting us. It's about moving the team forward. The whole thing's about moving the team forward, and we don't get to where we are now without overpaying for Anquan Bolden and Pierre Garçon. Yeah, it's all a transition, and they needed that. They needed someone in the locker room who'd had won and gone, well, no, you can win, you can do this. They needed someone who'd been there to do and done it.
You've thrown some horrible names up tonight, Nick, when I've tuned in. You've sent some shivers down my spine and not in a good way with some of those names, Nick.
But like I said, they were needed. They may not have been what we wanted, but they were what we needed.
I hated Richard Sherman. I hated him as a Seahawk. But like Mav said, as a business decision, when he put on the red and gold, he was playing for my team, support him. Similar, Josh Norman's been terrible this year, but he was a 49er. So if he plays for my team, I'm going to defend him. But no, hopefully we're going to trade up. We're going to do some good trading and get what if Washington take Jimmy? Won't we get their 11th pick? So we'll be all right, gentlemen.
Yeah,
picking number 11 in the first round.
So if you do, so
hey Paul, did you want Josh Norman?
Did I?
Paul,
Sorry.
Did you want Josh Norman, or you want to keep him, or you want?
No, I want him gone. I wanted him gone. I didn't even want him on the team. But what I was saying, Ryan, why he was playing for our team. Yeah, you're going to get behind him, aren't you? Because you don't want your team to lose.
I got you on that.
See, Paul. Now that you mentioned Washington with the 11th pick, if that was to come true, now you start looking at who can we get with the 11th, or who should we really get with the 11th? Should we go with the corner first, or should we go with the edge first, or should we go after an old lineman to help solidify the position, to help Trey Lance move forward? You see, so you got three different things you're looking at. You know which one you really want to do, but with the 11th pick, that's one of the biggest decisions.
If we got 11, I wouldn't even pick there. I'd be trading down. Trade down, try and get another pick, maybe at the top end of the second. Depending on who we sign in free agency, we may find that we need some depth, or got to fill a couple of gaps. If you can get someone then sort of towards the end of the first round, and then again at the top of the second, that would be perfect scenario for me. I'm not a fan of trading down.
If we get the 11th, we won the trade. If hands down, if we get an 11th pick, we won the trade. We won it. Mm-hmm. We got rid of one of our ones to a late first rounder now, and then we just moved right back into the 11th with getting rid of Jimmy. If that's the case, yeah, I can see trading out and getting more, but I can also see I would more be leaning towards best player available, whether it's safety or edge. If you're in the 11th spot, you go down at the top people available, either edge or safety, and you grab them. Because edge is super deep.
Do you really want the best available, or do you really want to look for that player that fit your scheme?
Best available.
Best available.
Always best. You start reaching, that's when you fuck up. Pardon my language. Sorry.
We're past 7 minutes. You're good.
I don't know. I mean, Kyle Shanahan does not have a good history in picking in the first round.
That's one of my things against Kyle. I think Kyle has made huge mistakes trying to get guys he thinks fits him best versus just getting a Derwin James. Who it doesn't matter what scheme he's in. He's a baller. He's going to make plays for you, and he's going to learn it. And I think that's been one of his flaws. It was, some of the, like I said, his decision making at times is his arrogance, his stubbornness sometimes costs him. And I hope he's learning. But you got to go with the playmaker.
I mean, that's what
we don't know that it's Kyle's fault, though. We don't know if it's Kyle. It could be John. It could even be Adam Peters.
I do, because of the way it's structured. I would say Kyle 1, John 2, Peters 3. Except the Solomon Thomas pick. That to me screams John Lynch all over it.
Stanford man, that's John Lynch, yeah.
And then considering
when it comes to defense, of course.
Yeah. And then we said no on Deshaun Watson that year, and we passed up on Patrick Mahomes that year. I think we passed up on Derwin James that year.
So did a lot of teams, though.
No,
And the
we
most
just-
pro-ready quarterback of that class, Mitch Trubisky. Can't forget him, Ron. You know, we passed
This
up
is
on
it.
him as well.
Let's be honest, we stitched up the Bears in a big way.
I mean,
Who did we draft? Solomon Thomas on that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we passed up on all that?
Yeah, I agree with Ron. I think Solomon Thomas was John Lynch's pick. And then
Yeah.
Kyle said, sit yourself down. I'm doing the drafts after this. And it's been a mixed bag. But I think Kyle is king of the castle. So for me, it all stops with Kyle. He's the kingmaker. We've said that on our show many a time. John Lynch is there to support Kyle, not the other way around.
Yeah. That's why I feel like John Lynch is going after next year, man. He's taking that job. I mean, he's going to be making triple his salary. Why the hell would he want to stay in the front office with a headache?
I
think he moves up. I think he stays with
Yeah.
us. I think he moves up to president, and then Adam Peters takes over as
Yeah.
GM.
You're right. You
Because
can
I
makes
would
sense.
like to see Adam
It makes
Peters
sense.
taking over.
Hey, Nick, Paul, you guys want to do final thought? I know you guys got to go. So
No,
what do you want to do?
I just wanted to say thanks for letting me get Crash. And obviously, I'm going to try and be on more and more. But obviously, I follow all of you guys on Twitter. So I'll be interacting with you all. And thanks for having me on, Ryan.
sir.
It's been a
No
pleasure.
problem, Paul. Anytime, man.
All right.
I'll
On
speak to
weekends.
you all later.
On weekends.
See you later, lads.
See you soon,
All right,
Paul.
man. Yeah, Paul. Nick, you want to do a final thought? You good for a couple more minutes? Or you want to do?
I just want to echo what Paul said. I want to say thanks very much for
No
having
problem,
me
Nick.
on.
Anytime,
I
man.
love coming in and having a chat with you guys. It's a whole lot of fun. It's a learning experience every single time, man.
See you next weekend. We'll
All
be
right,
here.
Nick,
Let's
take it
go.
easy, man.
See you soon, guys.
All right, guys. Later.
Later, man.
You
Yeah,
guys
man.
good? You want to go too, or what?
It's
I think
always
I should
it's
drop here.
always one, man. It's always fun to be on with you guys, fellas.
Oh man, you know I love this shit.
Yeah. It's
My baby
definitely
here,
good talk.
actually my second home.
Yeah.
For sure. See, I like this, man, because we don't argue on it, and we all share our different intakes on that, and we see where each other coming from. That's what I like about it.
Mhm.
So when people really, really start like watching us and stuff like that, you can really see the dynamic that we'll bring to not just 49er fans, but other fans around the league as well, because we talk about all of them. I mean, you can't talk 49ers football without mentioning any one of them other 31 teams.
You got that right, man. You do.
So
Yeah, Ron,
You
I
know-
want to thank
you
you
know-
very much for accepting
Yeah,
my invite to
for
come
sure,
on
man.
here. You have to go right now if you want to.
No, I don't
I'm
got to
just
go.
saying.
But well, so
Thank-
here's. I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
like to maybe later on. I would hope to do like a show watching day 2 of the draft.
yeah,
Sure.
we can do that. Shit.
You
I don't know
want
if
to
that-
watch that live on here, the draft, or 'cause I'm gonna have to do a streamer thing then.
It would. Well, I mean that's in April, so that's quite a ways away. But if we can maybe just even catch a round or two live.
Oh yeah, when it comes on, hell yeah.
I think the
Oh, yeah, I
first
know
round will
what
be
you're talking
better, won't it?
Well, we won't. I mean, as of right now, we don't have a pick in the first. So
But that's
Yeah,
the thing, though.
exactly what I'm talking about.
We don't know what can happen in the first. I mean, hell, it was in the first we jumped up to 3.
yeah. Well, I mean, we're at 11, at 12th, I think. So yeah, you're right. It's
Yeah.
all really. It just falls back to what you said. We won't know until we know with Jimmy.
We're gonna find out by March 8th.
Oh, yeah.
March 8th, that's when
Yeah.
they're gonna start talking. And the 14th is the legal tampering. The 16th, we gonna find out, man.
Yeah,
So
I think-
March
yeah.
8th.
Yeah, I'm already
by
trading
next
that
week,
trade away.
Yeah, I can see. See, I wasn't even thinking about trading it away, but until you guys mentioned that, yeah. See, that's another
If-
scenario that
yeah.
I didn't even think about.
I'm already mocking that 4th that I'm assuming we're gonna get, and trading it away to move earlier in the second and go get who I would like to see him get, but who knows?
I still think Pittsburgh go after Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett.
Oh, could be. All right, gentlemen. It's as
Yeah,
always.
Ron.
It's been a pleasure, man.
All right, man. We'll let you know if you want to go live tomorrow, right, man? We'll let
All
you
right,
know.
man. All right.
Later on, man. Later.
Later.
All right, Ron. Catch you later, Ryan. Catch you later, buddy.
Yeah.
Get ready to step out.
Gotcha, man. No
Slide with
problem.
the family.
No problem, man. Go do your thing, man.
All right.
Later. Oh, wrong one. I always put the wrong one. I don't know why I did that for. There you go. I think this is the one I wanted. Yes, it is. I want to thank you all for coming in here and experience the refurbish, the rebrand of Red and Gold 24/7. All right. First, I definitely want to thank Maverick from our crew, from our team. Okay. I want to thank Maverick, of course, Chuck for coming here for a time he had. And then, of course, our newcomer, Ron. Thank you very much, Ron, for coming here, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. And seriously, thank you for, accepting my invite to come on the podcast and everything. All right, bud. And of course, I want to say thank you to all the guys on the other side of the ocean in the UK. Of course, Nick Welsh, which I call Nick W. All right. And of course, Nick C, Nick Cork. Thank you very much, man, for showing up. Thanks, man. Thank you. And then, of course, we had Ashley. Thanks a lot, Ashley, for showing up, bud. I know. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. And of course, last but not least, I came in a little late, but at least you got him in here right on time. Thank God. So, of course, we had Paul. Thanks a lot, Paul, for coming in, man. I know you have a busy life. I know, I understand that. I got a busy life myself, as you can see. So, I got the same kind of life you have. So, but I want to thank you all. I know there were no comments tonight, or today, I should say. I know it's about 5:30 p.m. on the Eastern Coast. So, but I want to thank you all so very much for coming on and getting this thing going. You know, I don't even want to talk about the other one because that's now for me, it's in the past. So it's in the past. But if anybody wanted to ask me about it, I'd be glad to talk to you about it. But, just sorry about that. My son. Wrong one. Here you go, bud. Here you go. So basically, just want to say thank you for all making this happen. And especially Maverick for helping me out, getting this thing going. Because he was actually the last one I brought into the I don't want to say the word, but the other one we had. So, but thank you very much, Maverick, man, for sticking around. Thank you, Chuck, for sticking around. I know Chuck for over 20 years. So, but I want to thank you all very much for coming in here. This has been, of course, Red and Gold 24/7 presents The Faithful Empire. All right. And it was only on weekends. At 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay. But like I said, thank you all very much for coming in on Red and Gold 24/7 podcast. And then, of course, like I always leave the best for last, like I always do. That's what I'm gonna do with. All right. Keep the faith. Never lose hope. We out here.